just follow me.
All right, well, that was fun. That's the first time we got to do that before.
I know.
All right, I liked that. That was fun.
Let me push this out to everyone.
Oh yeah. Gotta tweet out good stuff. All right, hi everybody. We have 6 people watching right now. It's crazy. Hi guys. It just started. I'm here with Tyler. It's gonna be a really fun stream today. I've been waiting to talk to Tyler for a while now. We've discussed doing a show for a long time. He's a big supporter of mine, and it's gonna be a really fun show today. As we were talking about a little bit before the stream started, he's a Giants fan. I have some questions to ask him about Scott Fishbowl stuff because I've never played before, and I'm actually going to hopefully play this year. I signed up last night to be on the list to get an invite. So hoping to get one of those, and then obviously we're going to talk about a little bit of Pokemon stuff because that's what we are fans of because we're both nerds. So Tyler, how are you doing? Thanks for coming on, obviously.
I am great. I've been on a lot of shows lately. Yesterday I was live on the DLF YouTube channel. I recorded my own podcast. I did a dual language Spanish-English podcast. I put that out on my Twitter. Yes, it was very interesting. I suggest you go. People. Do you
speak Spanish?
I don't speak Spanish. The whole point was it's a Spanish show, but it's the target market is people who speak Spanish but speak a little bit of English or some English, but Spanish is their first language. So basically, they just took what I said and translated in. We talked in English, and they just took what I said and translated it into Spanish. But it was good. I took 12 years of Spanish, so I could understand what they were saying.
So you kind of know,
but they didn't know that. That's not why they had me on. I told them that after we recorded. But I happened to be able to understand what they were saying, so. That did help. But yeah, it was fun. They have a really good show. They're apparently the NFL is very popular in Mexico. I didn't know that, really.
Yeah, I mean they have those games they play in Mexico every once in a while, every year.
Yeah, but I didn't know that. So I was and they have a pretty big audience. They came prepared with a lot of questions for me. I was surprised.
That's awesome.
They had 11 questions and not one-word answers. So it was good. I always suggest if there's, they had me on, but I don't speak Spanish. But if there's somebody, I put it out in my retweet group, and I suggest to anyone watching, if you do speak Spanish, this would be a good opportunity for you.
Yeah, amazing.
This would be the show to go on because you could reach a new audience in Spanish that you'd never have the opportunity to reach otherwise. Because I've never heard of another. This is the first time I've ever heard of any fantasy show that's not in English. I've just never heard of one. This is the first one I've any type of fantasy show. It's the first one I've become familiar with that was in a different language. So, if you happen to speak Spanish, go look at my Twitter feed. It's called the Fantastico Tocho podcast, I believe. Hopefully I didn't butcher that, but I think that's what it's called.
Sounds right.
It's a very catchy name as well. But go and look that up. I put it out today, and just go into their DMs if you want to be a guest. I'm sure they'd love to have you.
Yeah, I'm sure they have you. It's funny you say that, actually. I got an email. I do the 3 Co Sports podcast. It's a pretty new show. Me and a couple guys from 3 Co Sports are doing. We were only on episode maybe episode 10. We're very new. And we try to do bi-weekly, but we've done weekly recently because there's not a lot of content right now. We're in a bit of a dead zone before the draft, as you know. But it's interesting you say that because we got an email. Well, I got an email the other day saying that we were on the top 100 charts for fantasy sports in the UK.
Congrats.
I was what? I was well, thanks, but we only get 10 listeners a show. So I was how is that possible? Well, I guess we just have some people who listen to our show in the UK. We were listed at 97 out of 100 for fantasy football in the UK or something. I was cool, but I don't really know how that happened.
You got to get more.
It just goes to show there's untapped potential for those kind of shows and stuff.
You got to get more listeners on that show though. It's I'm sure it would be a good listen. I listen to, so I'm a huge podcast person. I don't know if you know this about
So am I.
But that's how I found this community. I talked about it a couple different times yesterday on the 3 shows I was on. It came up, I forget, at some point. But I wouldn't have found Oh, I love this.
Please hold.
I'll occupy everyone while Luke answers the door. But yeah, so just to occupy everyone, I was on the show yesterday, and I was just talking about Fantasy Pros and the FF Ballers and how they they were my intro into the community. So yeah, I wouldn't have found Twitter. I wouldn't be here today without them. So, thanks to Andy, Mike, Jason from the Ballers, and then Mike Tagliere from the Fantasy Pros were kind of my intro into this community. All right, so now I have to do the thing where I vamp, right? I mean, that's what I do when the host disappears. So, Chase Edmonds. Now that I'm live, Chase Edmonds is not good. They signed James Conner, so you can take that dream and throw it away. It's weird. On yesterday's the 3 shows I was on all of them, we talked about the 2020 draft, the 2020 rookie draft. All right, I
held it down so well. I heard
stop vamping.
Great.
Yeah, well, I could talk for hours. Connor Edmonds, question from.
That's a good question.
Yeah, the extra point FF. That's Ben, right?
I think that's Ben. I actually tweeted earlier. I said like whispering, like low key. If they pay, I don't know the money on Connor yet. I don't know if you've seen that. It was a 1-year deal. If it's more than like $5 million, I think there's a chance he could be the starter. There's a chance.
I think Connor is the starter.
I agree. I think it's going to be gross, but I think there's a good chance that he ends up being like the starting amount of carries.
Problem is, I think.
What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it,
bro. But yeah, I think they're going to add another running back.
Ooh, you think so?
Oh, I do. I just think that Connor's always hurt, and Edmonds can't carry the load. That's not enough. I mean, Eno Benjamin is a nothing. So I think they're going to add someone. It's really just a question of when. I think that this rules out the idea that they're going to take Najee Harris with 16th overall pick.
Yeah, I agree.
That seems like a bad use of resources at this
point. I feel like that wouldn't have happened anyway, even if they didn't sign Connor. I feel like that's still a bit of a reach.
Nobody. If they had come into the draft with nobody, I think that was Najee's like ceiling. That was the highest.
Yeah, I agree. That would be the absolute ceiling. I feel like the actual price range for Najee starts at number 23 with the Jets and then goes from there.
I think it starts with the Dolphins at 18.
Where? At 18? That's possible. That's possible. Definitely possible. I think he's more of like a 20s. I think he's more of a 20s range guy. But
18, right?
Are they 18? I forget.
Make that up, right?
There's somewhere in there. I don't really know. I think they might be in the. Are they in the 20s? I don't know. I actually don't remember.
18. 18? Just make it up. But yeah, I thought that the Cardinals were the ceiling at 16, but now I don't see that happening anymore. But the Cardinals do pick again at 49, and I still think that if someone that they really like is there,
Javonte could still be there.
Javonte could still be there, and I think that they would pick him if he were still there. I do feel like there's a good chance he'll be gone, though. I think they'll be picking from the next group. And if there's someone in there that they like, I think they could make that their pick.
Gainwell,
who? Gainwell?
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe.
You said the next group. So
yeah. Maybe I don't know if Gainwell is really what they want. I mean, I think, Connor is kind of boring, but okay at
he's
kind of
so
everything.
Boring. Oh my dude, I'm a Steelers fan. I can tell you all about James Conner. He's
boring.
He's good at everything, but he's not great at anything. He's just mediocre around the board.
It's exactly what I was going to say. I totally agree. But he's better than Benny Snell.
Oh God, I hate Benny Snell. Well, no, I don't. Benny Snell, he's not bad, but he'll never be like the starting running back.
He's awful.
He's so okay. So the problem with Benny Snell. Here's the thing I hate about the Steelers backfield, right? Like you got James Conner, who's painfully mediocre across the board. You got Benny Snell, who is supposed to be like a power back, but he's also small and slow. It makes no sense. And then you got Anthony McFarland, who doesn't get any opportunity. And then Jalen Samuels. So
Jalen Samuels is nothing. But
Jalen Samuels is nothing.
They didn't even put and Anthony McFarland on the active roster for the playoffs. Their season was on the line.
Oh my God.
And he was inactive after a whole season as 4th round pick.
Bad.
I mean, that's a bust. That's a total bust if that's what you got out of your 4th round pick.
I saw some potential from him when they put him in. I think it was the Cowboys game. He had a bit of I can't talk. He had a bit of a wiggle that I liked. And he's fast, but they just didn't really give him. They didn't use him correctly. Like they didn't give him like touches in space and stuff like that. Well, the offensive coordinator likes him, the new one, because I mean he was his coach in college. Like he has to like him.
Maybe.
But we'll see if they actually use him or not. I don't think they will. I think I've been saying this to everyone on Twitter and everything, especially with Benny Snell. Sell the Steelers running backs for anything you can. Currently.
You can't sell them for anything.
Anthony McFarland. I think you can get Anthony McFarland for a 3rd.
I'll take it if I can get it because he sucks. But
I see some people on Twitter who believe in him still. So I think people are out there.
Name them.
I don't know, but I saw somebody the other day.
Go after?
You want to go after some people?
Who's next on the chopping block? I've been doing this more recently. Who do I have to? No, I don't do this. But
no, yeah, I know. I was just saying, like, I don't remember who it was, but
no, the only people I take a shot at are the ones that are like pretend that they're reporters. I take a shot at those.
Oh yeah,
those people with their sources.
They don't exist.
They don't have sources.
No.
There's nobody in the fantasy industry has sources. The fantasy footballers, Andy, Mike, and Jason, they're big as you get. They find sources. Out the news at the same time we do.
Yeah.
They don't have any sources.
No.
Like and that's as big as you'll ever get.
You'll see some people who have like 300 followers be like, I'm hearing from a league source, like a wide receiver is going to get traded soon. Like that's not
bullshit. It happened last year during the draft. There were people on fantasy Twitter saying, "Oh, I have sources that." No, you don't. Prove it. You have sources. Prove it to me. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe you. Get your blue check mark. Work for a real publication. That's and then you tell.
That's the funny thing too is that people who always say that they don't actually have a publication either. Like they don't
have anything.
Like they're just like a fantasy account who's there just for like for a good time, which is nothing wrong with that. Like Angry Sports Couples, the prime example of that. Like him and her sports, like they're awesome. They don't have any publication, but like you don't have to have one. Is what I'm saying. But like if you're gonna say that like you have sources, like at least like work for like Fantasy Pros or something.
No, nobody from Fantasy Pros has sources.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Nobody from Fantasy Pros has any sources.
Yeah, no one has any. I'm not even saying that.
No one at DLF has sources either.
No one has sources.
There are no sources. We find out this. Believe me, I know from talking to them in the chat. We find out this stuff at the same time. Yeah, bullshit. Yeah, thank you for that, Ben. It's bullshit. I'm hearing.
Yeah, for real.
Tell me where you're hearing it. Like
you're hearing it. You're hearing it from a sleeper notification. Like you're not actually hearing it from a source.
And I talked about this last night. People also should become more informed. Like James Robinson. I still hear people saying that James Robinson is going to be replaced as a Jaguar starter.
He's not going to be replaced. If anything, they draft like a 4th rounder to come like back him up.
It's just false because if you look at what the GM said, he was very clear that. And I posted the link yesterday. We are building the running back room around James Robinson.
Yeah. It's literally him and Carlos Hyde. So, like, Carlos Hyde's obviously going to be a bit of annoying, but it's fine.
And I think that they will draft some depth in the 4th or the 5th round.
I agree.
Carlos Hyde is not acceptable to have as your only backup. And I don't think Reichwell Armstead is ever going to play again, which is a very sad story, by the way.
It is.
That is, but, is...
How would you feel threatened at all if they drafted a guy like Chuba?
No, not by Chuba. No, I would be threatened. There's only 3 players in the draft that I would feel threatened by, and they're not taking one of them.
That's fair.
Yeah,
you wouldn't even be threatened at all if they drafted a guy like Kenny Gainwell.
If they drafted Kenny Gainwell, I would reduce Robinson's value, but not be threatened. Like there are some people who still to this day repeat that James Robinson will not be the starting running back for 2021 for the Jaguars. Just turn those people off. Like
okay, like I'm in the camp. Like I love James Robinson, but I'm not really one to invest in him for dynasty
purposes. Neither am I.
Yeah. Like I think it's just scary just because he's an undrafted guy. So
I totally agree.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Totally
Like, I love the talent,
but
I don't think he'll be replaced at all.
Right, there are
the near
people
future.
who think that they're going to draft like Travis Etienne in the draft. That
Not
is not
going to happen.
Like, that is ridiculous.
Not going to happen. Yeah,
that is like, look, if I'm wrong and they're right, then fine. They went against all of the evidence available. They went.
I had the wrong background on this entire time. Get the Sharkies in here. There we go.
The background was fine, but
I know. I just thought it was funny. I didn't even notice.
So there are some people who just think that they know everything, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you don't. Like, you don't know everything. You don't know better than the beat reporters. You don't know better than what the words that came out of the GM's mouth, right? Like, who are we to discuss like what they're going to do? I mean, last time I checked, I didn't become a psychic. So like,
what are you hearing?
Yeah, what am I hearing? I'm hearing it from Sleeper. I'm hearing it from Rappaport and Schefter. I'm hearing it from so
NFL Network and those guys.
So with that though, like, do I do extra work and go and look at, like, for the Broncos, say with Philip Lindsay? Like, did I find Philip Lindsay because I went and looked at the Denver reporting about him? Yes. Is that extra work?
That's actually so important.
Yeah,
seriously,
is that extra work you can do? Yes. But like, I didn't just make it up. Like, I went and looked for it. Like, right? There's
looking into what beat reporters are saying is actually extremely important because, like, like you were saying, like, no one actually knows. The only guys who actually even remotely like know are the beat reporters, because they're there every day reporting the team for their full-time job.
Yeah, and they're wrong a lot too. Like, the Steelers beat reporters were confident that Juju was gone, and he stayed.
Yeah. Dude, I never understood that. I mean, I was telling people on Twitter a long time ago. Like, I remember I had one interaction with Matt McCoy. Love Matt McCoy, by the way. I just always have an example with him because we talk a lot on Twitter. He's an awesome dude. But he was saying, and I don't know if it was during a show we were doing or in a Twitter thread, I forget. And he said, like, Juju's gone. And I was like, I wouldn't be so sure, man. Like, I know, like, it's probably unlikely that he's going to stay due to money, because, like, everyone around the internet knew at the time that Juju loved Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh loved Juju, and everyone in the world knew that he was willing to stay if the money was right. I always just knew in the bottom of my heart it would just come down to money, and it even didn't come down to money. Actually, he didn't even really lose out on that much money. I mean, he lost out on like maybe a couple million, but like at the end of the day, he just decided to stay. And like I always said, like, every quote or interview about him with the Steelers was always like, yeah, I want to be a Steeler for life. Like, I want to stay here. And everyone in the organization was like, yeah, we love him. We don't want him to leave. So like, I don't understand why everyone in the community was like, yeah, he's gone.
Well, I think it was a reasonable expectation that he would be gone.
It was.
I think what happened here is that we overestimated how good we think Juju is. He's significantly worse than we thought. That's what happened. Like,
no, I just think the free agency market was really bad this year.
No, I disagree with that. With that. If believe me, if Juju Smith-Schuster had been presented a contract, anything like what Kenny Golladay signed or anywhere near it, he would have signed it. There was no contract forthcoming.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's because the only team that was offering a contract like that to any players was the Giants.
I don't think so. I think that there would have been, if he were actually good.
I mean, Will Fuller didn't get a good contract as well.
Well, Juju didn't get as much as Will Fuller, and I think that going into this free agency, I think that we as a dynasty community thought that Juju was significantly better than Will Fuller. Clearly, the NFL teams don't think so. If they thought that he was really that good, he would have been paid a significant contract. But they didn't. They didn't do that, even though he was significantly younger than a lot of these other players. I think that this has to tell us something. I dropped Juju's dynasty value significantly after he re-signed with the Steelers. Just tells me the NFL doesn't want him. The NFL doesn't see him as a one. The NFL, or they don't even see him as a pseudo one. Look at what Corey Davis got paid to be a pseudo one. They don't even see him as that. They see him as like a two at best. And that's
I think the best NFL like player comp for like, I think his like best case scenario for Juju's career is like Jarvis Landry. Like, I think he'll be like a good number two for like the rest of his career.
He's not,
like, I don't think he'll.
Good. He's not as good as Dark players. He's better.
They just don't use him. I mean, when he was used correctly on the Steelers a couple years ago, I mean, he was really good. I think the only problem is that they don't use him on the outside anymore. They put him in the slot, and he doesn't get a lot of targets.
But is he really that? I think we saw that there are two players on the Steelers who are better on the outside than he is. So, and look, I like Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson, but Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson are not top 10 receivers in the league. So, like,
nope.
If Juju's not even as good as them, how good is he? Like, I think
he is really good. I just think it makes a lot more sense for the team to put him in the slot because they have two very capable outside receivers already. And then if you put Juju on the outside, who the hell is going to play in the slot?
And yeah, I get it from the Steelers' perspective.
Like Ray McLeod, like who cares?
Yeah, I get that. I just think like he's been exposed. Like 2019, was he really that? I mean, he was awful. He's struggled with injuries the whole year. Then this year, he puts up the production, but he's horrifically inefficient on his volume. Massive volume that can be taken away.
Well, in his defense, because like I mean I'm a Steelers fan. I watched the games. He played well. Like he was really good. They just didn't give the depth of targets for the Steelers offense this year was abysmal. It was a dink and dunk offense.
But why was the depth? Why did he receive?
Because Ben's old.
But is that the only reason? What was Claypool's ADOT?
Probably deeper than Juju's, but they didn't really hit on deep balls very much at all. All the Steelers passes were. No, like the vast majority were like.
I get that. I get that. But when I look at, forget Claypool because he's a totally different player. When I look at Juju versus Deontay Johnson, who is always open? Not Juju. Deontay Johnson. Who provides more after the catch? It's not Juju. Like I just you can make excuses, but there's another player on that team who, when he was on the field, was not really limited by those.
Yeah, I'm just looking up Ben's stats this year compared to his career. His average yards of attempt went down from his career average of 7.7 to 6.3 this year.
Oh, he was
pretty significant drop off.
He was significantly worse. I can't just like. It's hard because like.
No, I agree though. Like I think that Juju's fantasy value for the Steelers, like when he's on the team, is bad because they don't. He plays a very unselfish role with the Steelers. Like he's even said in like press conferences, like he misses the days of playing on the outside because he gets more volume. It's like he's never gonna put up like extremely gaudy numbers for fantasy when he keeps playing in the slot like he is right now. So like the thing is, it's still a 1-year contract with the Steelers, but so like there's a chance he leaves again next year if the money's tight. But I really have no idea what their salary cap looks like next year. I'm pretty sure they play TJ Watt next offseason, so that's gonna be interesting. But I don't really know if it, like basically period. If he stays in Pittsburgh for the long term, he's not gonna ever do anything that special for fantasy.
No, I agree with that, but I also don't think he's gonna stay in Pittsburgh long term. I mean, they're gonna have to choose eventually between him and Deontay Johnson and
Claypool.
Well, Claypool is already there. He's a year behind on the pay scale, so that's not really going to be the choice that they have to make. But they're going to have to start thinking about an extension for Deontay Johnson first. So, and I think that they'll send Juju packing. I just don't really like Juju, like personally. I just, not like as a person, but I always say this, is that when you're not that good, and you get a lot of volume can be taken away. And players who get more volume than I think they deserve are very, very, very scary. You're Juju. You're Tyler Boyd. It's another one. I think gets far more volume. Is Tyler Boyd really that great? No.
I think Tyler Boyd's really solid.
He's okay, but
he's good. He's another example of a really good NFL wide receiver too.
Sure. They bring in Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd's volume's gone because he doesn't actually deserve it. He doesn't.
I think Tyler Boyd would still finish as a fantasy wide receiver too with Jamar Chase.
There's no way. It's not possible. So. He wouldn't get the targets. What is Joe Burrow throwing for? 650 passes?
Well, AJ Green vacated like over 100 targets. So
right, but unlike AJ Green, Jamar Chase is not washed. Like, and T Higgins.
No, yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like there are targets to go around in there still.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, for someone who's as inefficient as Tyler Boyd is on his targets, he needs a lot of them. 100 is not enough. If he gets
he's more of an underneath PPR machine kind of
right,
guy.
But he's inefficient on his targets. He's not efficient on his volume. So if he got 100 targets, that's not going to cut it. Like he had 110 targets last year, and that
that's even without Joe Burrow for half a season though.
Yeah, but that wasn't enough. Like his big season was in 2019. He needed 148 targets to do it. Like that's the kind of volume he needs, and to be that kind of really valuable wide receiver, that wide receiver, mid wide receiver 2 that you're saying. And if Jamar Chase comes there, that a better player, that volume is going to go away. That's why I always say to chase talent at wide receiver instead of situation. At running back, I'm a little bit more comfortable chasing situation than I am.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wide receiver.
A wide receiver, yeah, I agree. It is more based on talent and opportunity. I do think he's a good player, though. He is definitely somebody who needs to get fed, but he's a good NFL receiver. He is.
He's a good NFL receiver, but he doesn't. Do you really think that your offense is the best case scenario for your offense actually to give Tyler Boyd 148 targets? Of course not. But
he's really good at it. He's a good weapon, though. He's a very reliable weapon, wide receiver 2 kind of guy that balances out your offense. I mean, I think every team would have Tyler Boyd on their roster.
But what's Tyler Boyd is closer in talent to like Jamison Crowder or Sterling Shepard than he is to like the actual valued wide receivers. The only reason he's done better is because he's had better volume. Like he had the 148 target season. When he had not 148 targets, suddenly he wasn't that good. And that's the thing with Tyler Boyd. He needs the volume.
Well, yeah, but I don't think the volume's going to go away, though, is the thing. Like,
well, if they draft Jamar Chase, it's gone.
I think next year, even if they draft Jamar Chase, I think he's still minimum like back end wide receiver 2, like wide receiver 24 or higher.
He has to get 130 targets to do that, and that's not happening. Like
I don't know. I think it still happens. Look at the Scatteroonies. I'm curious.
Yeah, it won't happen. Like that's the thing. I'm worried about guys like Tyler Boyd who just aren't that efficient. Like it's an efficiency thing. And there are some players who aren't efficient but are actually kind of good. Like I think Juju's better than his efficiency numbers say he is. Like Juju's better than Tyler Boyd, but it's Tyler Boyd's the more extreme example of someone who I would be selling if I were in Dynasty, put it that way.
See, I think he's too much of a value to sell. I think he's really cheap for what you can get out of him.
What do you think he's worth though?
A second.
Yeah, I mean,
would you rather have the 204 or Tyler Boyd? I would rather have Tyler Boyd all day long.
I guess I'd rather have Tyler Boyd if that's all he's worth, but
you're not getting a first round pick for Tyler Boyd. No way.
I know. It's brutal. I know, put it this way, fair or unfair, if the Bengals draft Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd's dynasty value is gone. Look at what happened to Michael Gallup.
It's not gone. It's not gone at all.
It'll be less than the 204. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll 100%. Be gone, but I think he'll outproduce his value for fantasy.
Well, then he might outproduce his value because his value is going to disappear. Like people overreact to this kind of stuff. Like he won't carry the value. And that's the thing. Like it's tough. It's like what happened to Michael Gallup last year.
I understand. But I mean, it's T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, 2 really young wide receivers, is different than Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. And
really?
Amari Cooper's a lot more developed.
I don't think it's different. I think it's almost exactly the same.
Well, the thing is, like, there's a hole there, and like they didn't have enough. They didn't have as many targets to go around in Dallas as they do in Cincinnati, like vacated targets. So like even if you add in another wide receiver 3, I think it'll be fine.
I think that Jamar
and Boyd will lead that team in targets.
Oh, there's no way. There's no way. Boyd will not lead. There's no way. Probably Higgins. I would say I would bet on Higgins. But
Higgins might. I think. Well, my point is, it'll be close between the 3. I think.
It's
I don't
hard
think
to bet
there's
on
going
a
to be
rookie.
an outlier.
But to give an idea, I have Jamar Chase as a significantly better prospect coming in than CeeDee Lamb. Significantly.
Yeah,
better.
I'd say so too.
And
I mean, I don't really know. I don't grade them necessarily, but I mean, I definitely don't think it's.
Like I was surprised at the immediate impact.
Lamb's really good.
I was surprised at the immediate impact that CeeDee Lamb made. I thought he was really good, but I didn't.
Did you have him as your wide receiver 1 last year?
Oh yes, easily.
Yes, okay.
But I didn't think he would make the immediate impact that he did. He was even better from the start than I thought. What CeeDee Lamb did to start is what I expect from Jamar Chase. I expect him to do that. So with that expectation, you saw what happened to the third target in Dallas's offense. That was Dallas with Dak Prescott. That's what I'm telling. That's what I'm saying is what happened. That this is what will be the third target in this offense if Jamar Chase comes there.
Yeah,
now,
I don't think he will go there.
I don't either.
I hope they don't draft Jamar Chase. I want them to draft Sewell for the sake of Joe Burrow's knees.
Yeah, but
please God,
the Bengals are not known for smart decisions, though.
They are not. And it also would be great for Joe Mixon if they draft Sewell as well.
That's true. Although I'm done with Joe Mixon.
I like him. I think he's a great value. I think he's a great value right now because like a year ago or like going into last offseason, I mean, he was probably a top 10 dynasty running back, I'd say, or like around that range. For sure. I know, but now he's in like he can be like RB like 20 or something like that for some people. He's not for me. I think he's around like 18 or 19, but like he's in that range. But like what I'm saying is, if he plays a full healthy season next year with that offense, there's no way he finishes outside of the top 15.
I'm just done with Joe Mixon. Like,
why?
Because at some point when the player doesn't produce, you're out of excuses. There are too many excuses. Like, we have 4 years of excuses. He's never lived up to his expectation in any of the 4 years. As a rookie, he wasn't as good as he was supposed to be.
For fantasy, he's never really left. He's left a lot to be desired, but I feel like the on-field talent is very much there.
But at some point, there's too many excuses. Like, we have 4 years of excuses. In his rookie year, there were excuses. And then in his sophomore year, there were different excuses. And then in 2019, there were a whole different set of excuses surrounding like the quarterback and the offense. And then last year, there was injuries. But if you remember, he wasn't actually that good before the injury. He had one big game, but in the other 4 games, he was awful. So like,
yeah, he wasn't great in this first
very
few
inconsistent.
games.
So it's kind of like, I mean, the list, it's like at some point when I just think
plain and simple. I think plain and simple, he's just too much of a value to pass on for me. He's so cheap for a potential RB1. He's so cheap.
You ever have one of those things where it's like you can't really explain it? The numbers don't really. You're right? Like if I broke this down as like breaking down the numbers, whatever, like you're probably right in what you're saying. But you ever have one of those things where it's just like
you just can't do it?
Someone's telling you just no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Like this all signs point to this, but it don't do it. Like you're gonna regret this. That's how I feel about Joe Mixon. Like it's rare that I'm the one saying this, but I think I've been burnt one too many times.
That's fair.
4 years. No,
I understand it, especially if you've been burnt by Joe Mixon. I totally get it. I just think that the risk-reward ratio of Joe Mixon right now is worth it.
Yeah, it's hard to.
The investment is so little compared to what you could get out of him.
It's not going to be, though. Like when we get in Dynasty, maybe, but in redraft, I guarantee
he'll be 3rd or 4th round.
No, he won't.
Why?
No, he won't. He'll be higher. If he
there's no way he goes in the 2nd. I don't think.
Watch.
There's no way. There's gotta be
running back scarcity in redraft. Watch. By late August.
I don't like.
No, I'm telling you. They don't draft anyone. If they draft someone significant, then forget that take completely. But if they just sign some veteran nobody, like, or draft the nobody in the 5th or the 6th round, watch. He'll be in the late 2nd because that's how it works. Remember that
He'll be late 2nd at the earliest, I think.
Right, but remember that Kenyon Drake, by the time redrafts were like closing up last year, was a borderline 1st round pick.
Well, Kenyon Drake was different though, because we saw Kenyon Drake. Because we saw Kenyon Drake last year at the end of the last season go off. Like he was like the RB3 or something,
well,
like RB5.
Go off over.
No, hold on, let me finish for a second. So like the reason that people were so in on Kenyon Drake is because the last time we saw him, he was going nuclear. So people thought, okay, he's still the starter in Arizona. The last time we saw him, and he was going crazy. Kind of like what happened with David Montgomery this year. It's kind of what happened to Kenyon Drake 2 seasons ago. So like people saw that happening, and they're like, okay, the potential is there for this guy to be like a top 5 running back this season. So that's why they drafted him earlier. I think for Mixon, it's different. I feel like he's left a sour taste in people's mouths, and they're not going to be willing to invest as much.
But all it takes is one. That's the problem. If we were talking about a survey of everyone and their average on Joe Mixon, then it would probably be where you're saying it is. But the problem is in a draft, all it takes is one believer. And believe me, I have noticed that they exist and there are way too many of them. So like and I think we both agree that Joe Mixon is a far better player than Kenyon Drake, right?
Oh, for sure. He's very talented.
Sure. He's better.
That's one of the reasons I believe in him is because I feel like he's really talented. But like you said, there's so many excuses and so many inconsistencies for weird reasons. He's definitely an outlier player.
For sure. And like
Dave, I'm starting to believe, man. I don't really want to get on the train too much because I feel like it might be terrible. But I have found myself to be an apologist at times for the value, just for the value's sake. Yeah. I don't love him in general. I think he can be very good, but it's kind of risky. But for the value in Dynasty right now, I think he's an excellent pickup.
He will go somewhere in the late 2nd round. I'm just telling you, like.
See, I feel like there's easily 12 running backs people would rather have in redraft.
Doesn't matter. That he'll still it's going to be all running backs at the top of drafts because receiver is so deep. Like if he's the RB14, that's still the late 2nd round. Like, and how much later do you think he's going to be? You really?
I think he could be going in like that. Remember last year in redraft there was like the Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson.
No, he's going to be higher.
Devonta Freeman, James Conner range in like the early 3rd round. I feel like he could be there. No. He might be earlier than that. I think
he's going to be earlier.
His ceiling is mid 2nd, and his floor is like mid 3rd for redraft. He'll be somewhere in there.
I would think I'll put the number around 209 or 210 would be my guess.
He might be somewhere. He might be.
That's my guess.
Even then, though, I mean, if you draft a stud wide receiver in the 1st, or like, I don't even know, I might be willing to take him there, but I probably wouldn't. I would much rather have a
running back.
Running back. Cam Akers is going to go.
Oh, Cam Akers is going to go in the 1st. That much I know.
He'll be early 1st or early. Sorry. I meant early 2nd or late 1st. I think.
I think he's going to go in the 1st. He might. But like, really, if it comes down to it, and you have to pick in redraft, like, I think that we're going to get 15 running backs in the first 2 rounds. I mean, how many receivers do you really think are worthy of going in the first 2 rounds?
Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, maybe Stephon Diggs.
I'm not sure that. I mean, I think that's it. Like,
I think that's end of list, and then I think we'll see Travis Kelce and George Kittle in the 1st and 2nd as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. So that's 6 players. That means you have 18 running backs in there.
Let me look at some stuff real quick. So, like, are there any other wide receivers that we think?
No,
Michael Thomas probably not.
I mean, I think Adams will be the only 1st round wide receiver. I don't think any other, and I think Travis Kelce will go in the 1st round as well. Just given,
I think Kelce will go around like 110 or 111.
Yeah. So I think the 1st round will be 10 running backs in those 2.
It definitely could be. I think Julio is going to go in the 2nd.
No. People are
back
done
in the 2nd.
No, people are.
What about Justin Jefferson?
No, I don't think so either. I think that he just doesn't provide that immediate ceiling in a redraft format. I think he's going to go in the 3rd. I don't think he's going to go in the 2nd. I'm not even sure Nuke is going to go in the 2nd. I really think the 2nd, Like
no, there's no way Hopkins.
I'm serious. Like
round. There's no way. So it's DeAndre Hopkins, man.
People are so obsessed with running backs. Like
that's fair.
People are obsessed. You can get so many receivers. You can get Odell Beckham in the 8th round.
Okay, let me name some running backs I think can go in the first. There's going to be so many. Okay, here we go. Here are some running backs who could go in the 1st and 2nd round next year. Okay, we got McCaffrey, Saquon, Kamara, Cook, JT, Swift, Gibson, Najee.
Okay, not so sure about either of
Najee will go in the 1st or 2nd round. He'll go.
No, I don't. That depends on landing spot.
Look at Clyde this past year. He'll go.
Depends on landing spot, though. It has to be a good landing spot.
Pittsburgh, New York. I don't know.
Not New York. If he won't go in the first 2 rounds.
I think he'd go in the 2nd round if he went to the Jets.
I don't think so. I
don't know. It's possible.
It's got to be a good landing spot. I think he's the only rookie running back who could, and I think he needs to go in the 1st round to a good landing spot to make it happen. Otherwise, because like even JT was a 4th round redraft pick last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's because everyone was scared of Marlon Mack in front of him.
Yeah, everything came together for Clyde, but rookie running backs, unless they're like Najee is not on the Zeke or Barkley level as a prospect. So he needs the stars to align. Mm-hmm. And I think they could. I mean, if he goes to like Atlanta somehow.
Pittsburgh, baby. Come on.
Pittsburgh, I'm not as confident in.
Do it, Steelers.
Arizona would have been my absolute favorite, actually.
I think the Steelers would be my favorite. Non-biased. The Steelers would have been my favorite spot just because they use their running backs in a 3-down way. They don't sub out. They like barely sub them off the field. And I feel like they'd be a great fit because he can receive, he can run. It's the perfect fit.
Atlanta also would be really good.
Atlanta would have been good, but their defense sucks. So I feel like you get game scripted out a little bit more.
But
I don't know.
Anyway. But yeah, there's so many running backs. I mean, you didn't even get to
Let me keep going though.
Keep going.
So Nick Chubb.
Well, yeah, Nick Chubb would be
that's number 9.
Like Gibson and
I'm going down my dynasty rankings here, so I think out of order. Chubb, J.K. Dobbins.
Dobbins is
a 2nd.
Dobbins is a maybe for me.
He'll be a mid 2nd.
Similar to Gibson and but like when we get to redraft, I think there are going to be some people who want to take Mixon over Dobbins. When we get to redraft.
Ooh, I would much rather have Dobbins than Mixon.
It depends. I think that those guys are going to be in the same redraft tier.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. We got Akers. Akers is definitely going to go.
Akers will be in the 1st.
Yeah. I think Akers could go RB2 after JT, honestly.
He won't.
From this running back class. Swift might go higher, but I don't know. I think
Akers will go higher in
RB2 or 3.
Akers will go higher in redraft than Swift.
Yeah, I think Akers is a huge ceiling.
Or here, there's also something we can do. So just pulling up Fantasy Pros redraft rankings. So we don't.
Do they have ADP and stuff already?
It doesn't have ADP, but it has rankings.
Yo, Ethan's here. What's up?
To give you an idea, oh wow, they have fewer running backs in the top than I thought they would. But this is ridiculous. Cam Akers is RB15, so I can throw those rankings in the trash. Those rankings are nonsense. Yeah, clearly they haven't been updated. But yeah, I think that we'll get at least 15 running backs in the first 2 rounds.
I think we could see a lot. All right, just continuing down the list here. We got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think he'll go in the 2nd or 3rd. Zeke will go in the minimum.
Zeke will go
end
in the 1st. He's still going to go in the 1st.
Or sorry, end of the 2nd. 2nd or 1st.
He'll still go in the 1st. I think.
Derrick Henry will be a 1st-round draft pick.
Derrick Henry 100% will be.
Aaron Jones will be a 1st or 2nd-round draft pick.
Yeah, he might sneak into the back end of the 1st, but he'll 100% be in the top 2 rounds.
Mixon will be a 2nd or 3rd for sure.
Yeah, there's Austin Eckler also will be in PPR is going to be in the 2nd.
Miles Sanders will probably be in the 2nd or 3rd. 3rd?
Miles Sanders, no. People are done with Miles Sanders. I feel like people are more willing to give Joe Mixon another chance.
That's fair.
Than Sanders.
J-Rob?
That depends on the draft. He's another maybe.
I think he'll be 3rd.
Yeah, I think people are just going to be a little scared of him.
Javonte is draft related. Travis Etienne is draft related.
I don't think
Josh Jacobs is going to be like 4th.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, there's no way. Javonte and Etienne, again, I think it's even less likely than Najee Harris, and I think the stars would really have to align.
Ethan just commented a second ago about David Montgomery. He's a Bears fan.
Nah.
I think he could go high. I think he could go third round.
Third round, sure, but second, no. He doesn't.
Second, probably not. No. Third round, I think, is a good place for David Montgomery.
Yeah.
For ADP and redraft.
Third is very fair. But yeah, as you can see.
What about Chris Carson?
Chris Carson not in the second. Chris Carson never went in the second. He didn't go in the second last year.
No, I'm just saying, like, where do you think he's going to go? Like third or fourth?
Fourth.
He'll be good value there, I think.
If you get him late fourth,
Melvin Gordon's going to be a steal next year in redraft, in my opinion.
Assuming they don't draft anyone. They're a low-key candidate to draft someone.
They are a low-key candidate to draft a guy like Travis Etienne or something.
Yeah, because Melvin's on a 1-year deal and they have 1 year left and they have nothing else. So they got rid of Philip.
Yep, it's literally the Melvin Gordon show.
And Mike Boone, if you count him. But
that's true. Mike Boone's actually low-key a really good player.
But they're not an if they're going to draft someone. They're a when they're going to draft someone team. It's like
Judah would be interesting there.
Yeah, but I think they're going to go higher than that.
You think so? You think they're going to get like a third or second round guy?
I mean, I think they're someone who could be in play. I mean, what picks do they have?
They're picked 9 in the first.
Well, no, they're not picking a running back in the first round. I mean, they need to solve the quarterback problem.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of. I think they make a lot of sense to trade up to 4 for Atlanta.
I totally agree. I've been saying
they should. They really should.
But if you look at them, they have Noah Fant, and they also have Alberto. And they have Sutton, Judy, and they also spent second-round pick on KJ Hamler last year. So they're not taking any receivers. They're not.
They're literally a quarterback away from having like one of the best offenses in the NFL.
Yeah, and I assume they're going to fix that issue in the first round. So when we come to pick number 40, if you look at their offense, what could you really do to improve it at number 40 more than taking like Javonte Williams at that stage?
I think it makes more sense for them to pick defense, honestly. But a running back would be nice.
If you got a rookie in there, though, if you got a rookie quarterback in there, wouldn't you want to have a good running game to give the rookie like every little bit of help?
Here's how I would view it: is if you're building for the future, you already have Melvin Gordon and Mike Boone. I feel like those are 2 pretty solid guys. I'd feel comfortable if I was an NFL GM rolling Melvin Gordon out there as my starting running back. I feel like you could agree. There you go. So, and then they have really good weapons. They have some holes on defense, so I'd be willing to spend some draft capital on the holes on defense, personally.
I would be willing to do it. The only thing is that I think
they need a corner really bad. In the first round mocks, if they don't trade up, everyone in the world has them picking a corner at 9. So I think them drafting a corner at 40 would make a lot of sense if they got a quarterback in the first.
I just think that they need a running back of the future. Like you're talking about.
Do you like a running back of the future though in the NFL?
Yes. It does. Yes, because
every time it does it, man.
Right. But if you get a running back on a cost-controlled second-round contract and you just use them for 4 years and then throw them away, that's how you save money. You don't sign you don't do what the Raiders did and sign.
Yeah, you don't sign Kenny Drink to be your backup.
Yeah. Well, no. Not first. You release all of your offensive linemen. You don't need
to sign linemen. All the Raiders fans are like, okay, we're getting rid of all this cap room.
Yeah.
Who are we going to sign?
All the offensive linemen and use the money you saved to sign a backup running back. That's what you do. No, so you take
the formula.
Take a running back in the second or third round. You get 4 years of a cheap contract, and then you just get the next one. That's why I think that drafting a running back at 40 would be a great plan. Javonte Williams as well. He never carried the workload at North Carolina. It would be perfect. He's also only 21 years old. Perfect for him to come in, split the touches with Melvin Gordon year 1. And then
I'm actually curious. Yeah. What's your opinions on Travis Etienne and Javonte Williams?
Oh, I like them. I think that Travis Etienne, neither to me is a real workhorse. Travis Etienne, he's good in the passing game. I think he can carry the load, but we're not talking about an 80, 90% touch share guy here. We're talking about someone who is a good starter. I think
he needs a solid backup.
I think that Travis Etienne should come in as a starter.
Yes.
Javonte Williams, I'm a little more okay with him kind of coming in as a backup or the second part of a timeshare to start And then kind of like what I said with Denver. I think Denver picking Travis Etienne, I mean, I don't think he'll be there at 40. I think Javonte Williams will be there at 40. But I think Javonte Williams is going to come in a timeshare to start, and then we'll see where it goes. That's why I think Denver is a great landing spot, because he wouldn't have to carry the full load. The 49ers at 43 as well. There would be other running backs there. There would be Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson to kind of help him carry the load in year one. They would split time. And then if he develops, then he could take a bigger role in year two. But I just don't think that Javonte Williams could step into what's a good example.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite like sleeper running back in this draft class?
Kenneth Gainwell doesn't count as a sleeper, right?
No. So, as much as we all like him.
Yeah, I mean, a sleeper. So that's probably not my area of expertise. I mean, I obviously hold out some hope for Chuba just because of the production he had in 2019, but he's even not really a sleeper. So when we talk about sleepers, we're mostly talking about players that like I don't like too far down the board that I would know anything about them.
That's
like
fair.
We'd be talking about like I've heard X, Y, and Z. So if we want some like good, where I've heard some good vibes, like Khalil Herbert, Demetric Felton, like people at DLF who I trust, or people on other pods who I trust, like those guys. But yeah, I don't really like this running back class. A lot of the mid-tier running backs kind of flopped.
It's very top heavy. Dave from Toronto showing love to Chuba, the Canadian. I respect it.
But like,
I feel like the obvious like sleeper guy is Chuba.
He's not a sleeper though.
That's the thing. It's like the obvious like sleeper is like Chuba or like Trey Sermon but like
those are not sleepers.
They're not though, because everyone knows, you know.
Like they don't count.
Yeah, I don't really have one for running backs. I have one for wide receiver though.
Wide receiver sleepers?
Yeah, I have one.
Who's yours?
Mine is Austin Watkins from UAB.
Austin Watkins.
Yes. Have you heard of this man?
Well, so I have 81 rookies ranked.
Yes.
And I do not see him on my list.
He's good. I mean, pull up his tape. We'll do a little bit of. Let's watch some film, real quick.
Oh boy.
I'll log into my my Dynasty Nerds film room over here real quick. See if this lags.
How is the Dynasty Nerds film room? I have my
no like actually I really like it. I mean I get it for free because I work for them.
Yeah,
which is nice. But I do really like it. It's really nice. It's really easy to watch film. You just go in and you can just look for your guy, and they have games listed, and you just pick it, and it's nice and chopped up, real easy for you. It highlights the player before every play. It's nice.
Yeah, we have some film at DLF, but I think it's just like a curation of like YouTube videos. I don't know. I mean, I don't watch films, so like. You're not asking the right people.
Ethan likes this guy. I think he likes him just for his last name.
He's last on my list.
He's last. Good.
Yeah, last. Number 81 on my list. So I don't know. That would mean I've never heard of him.
That's fair. All right, we're getting some Austin Watkins here. He played at UAB this past season. He played at JUCO for a long time during college. He's a nice, big-bodied X kind of receiver that I like. I mean, obviously he didn't play at the best competition, but he shows decent potential. I think he's going to be like a day 3 guy, but he's really not bad. I like him.
So tell me what I'm supposed to be seeing here.
I haven't watched it too much, honestly, but I think he's just a nice, big-bodied receiver prospect. He's like 6'2", around 200 pounds. He's a pretty big dude. I just like his film. I watched him a while ago.
He's the circled guy. So he's not the one catching the ball on that play.
He's circled every position here.
That's him, right? 6?
Yeah, it's him.
Okay, he broke a nice tackle there.
It was a nice play. He broke a tackle.
Is he really that big?
He's pretty big.
He looks small to me. Am I missing something?
He's at least 6 foot. He has the
small to me.
He's skinny. Like he has like a skinny like frame, but he weighs at least 190, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but he definitely is not what I would call big.
He's not huge, but he's like but he's not small is what I'm saying though. He's not big.
No, he's not small, but he doesn't look. He's not big.
He has a good build.
I like the shiftiness a little bit from what, at least what we've seen so far, but definitely not someone I would be looking at as like a contested catch guy.
No, I'm not saying like that. I'm just saying like he's the like X kind of like outside wide receiver that I enjoy.
He's like a small X, but he's not really being, at least from what we've seen.
Look at him go.
Right, but he's not being deployed as an X here. Like that's not what he is. This is not what X receivers do.
Yeah, I know, but he's an outside guy is what I mean. He's not necessarily an X, but like he's an outside receiver.
Yeah, I think he's more of a Z to me.
Yeah.
Given what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
More of that like, because I mean, to me, he looks like kind of a smaller guy who's like shifty.
Yeah, he can do a lot of nice things.
How's his speed?
He's decently fast. I feel like I looked up this the other day. Let me see.
Did he run?
I think he ran like a 4.49 or something like that. He's not that fast, but he's not slow.
Bad. It could be worse.
Yeah. Let me look it up again. Let me see.
Was that him catching that one? No, that was number 5. He's 6.
Who was that catching the touchdown? Oh, not him. Great.
Yeah. That's him, right? Yeah, catching that one. Yeah, again, he looks kind of shifty.
Yeah, he's shiftier than I remember, actually. Let me see here. This is looking at the Draft Network.
I don't care about that.
Yeah, he's 6'1.5", 207.
Hey, he looks smaller than that.
He's
I don't know if I buy that.
I'm reading his little blurb here from the Draft Network. He transferred to UAB from the JUCO ranks and became a big play threat for the Blazers offense.
Yeah, big play threat.
Across 21 games in 2019 and 2020, Watkins collected 90 receptions for 1,558 yards and 9 touchdowns. Watkins' blends of size, speed, ball skills, physicality, and route running prowess makes him an appealing prospect. His ball skills are exceptional, and he's a type of receiver that is open when he's covered. In addition to having outstanding ball skills, Watkins is an excellent after the catch, which makes him an appealing weapon to all parts of the field. Watkins has some technical work to do when it comes to route running / further developing his release package. Watkins is a wonderful vertical threat that gets to top speed quickly, but does he have a true second gear that will be required to make big plays in the NFL? Watkins has literally no experience on special teams from college, so he has to prove that in that regard that he can be critical if he's viewed as a wide receiver 4 or 5 early in his career. For a team to be looking to add his size, physicality, hands, and ball skills to the receiving corps, Watkins is a terrific target.
So yeah, he's like I worry about him because he sounds like a classic like college Z receiver who's faster than people in college, but then in the NFL that just doesn't cut in and he just doesn't succeed.
Yeah, probably should turn that off. Oh well.
Well, no, I mean he had this one deep play where he beat the corner, but this horrible quarterback just like
his quarterback sucks.
Dumped it like miles in the wrong direction.
Yeah, but like this guy's like a deeper dude for me because like I mean he's a sleeper for sure. I mean he's at this really crappy small school. But like he shows pretty solid potential.
I got to tell you though, like I just basically won't draft a receiver in my rookie draft if they didn't go in the first 3 rounds.
Oh no, that's fine. I'm not saying draft him in your rookie draft. I'm saying pick him up on waivers and like stash him.
I just like I'd rather have any running back than a receiver drafted outside the first 3 rounds.
Literally any running back.
Pretty much, yeah. Because if you think about it, this is more of a strategy thing. What can you get more for? No one's ever calling to you being like, yeah, I want a wide receiver 5 this week. I'll give you a 3rd round pick for that. Doesn't happen.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
If you just get that 1 week where the running back has value, boom, 3rd round pick minimum. So that's why I always want to load up my bench with those high upside running backs. Funnily enough, last year, I always say this, there were 2 guys that I drafted. Gabriel Davis and Darnell Mooney. So,
look at you,
maybe I'm not a total idiot.
Yeah, maybe you kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah, maybe I do know what I'm doing. But no, I drafted them because they were 4th and 5th instead of 6th and 7th. So I got lucky that the 4th and drafting them in the same order that the NFL took them paid off this year.
I definitely did. But yeah, I watched this guy's film a while ago. And I just remember when I was watching, I was like, this guy's not bad.
Are you a big film person? Like,
no, I'm not.
Wow.
But I
probably are.
I do it. Really? I don't know. I mean, I do.
Well, you can't be less. I mean, I've watched film twice, ever. Like, for my 2 articles that had film as part of them, those are the only 2 times I've ever watched college.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I ever am doing a write-up or looking to talk about a guy, I mean, I'll go over to like Dynasty Nerds Film Room and just like check it out.
I don't watch film. Like,
it's fun. It's fun. I mean, you can kind of sit down. I don't watch a lot. Like, there's some people on Twitter who claim to watch like every ounce of film in the universe. I am definitely not that guy. Like, I'll pop it on just for like a game or two and see just like what their play style is like and like what their potential is. And like,
I just don't enjoy watching film. I think that's really all it is. Like,
it's not the most fun thing in the world, but every once in a while I get in a mood where I'm looking to just like nerd out a little bit. So I'm just like pop it on. I'm like, yes, I will take notes.
Yeah, film.
There we go.
Film is just kind of like one of those things where I'm just like, other people do this. Like, I can't compete. That's always for sure. It's always what I say. If anyone's like looking for how to succeed in the industry, like compete in what you can compete with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to compete with the film grinders in film. Like, but you know,
the couch NFL scouts.
No, but there are other things that I can. There are other things that I'm good at that you know, I can stick to.
Yeah, I'm good at like general takes and analysis more than like watching film and evaluating players. Like, I can get a sense of like what you're good at, like watching film or like your play style, but I will never be like putting together like draft profiles for guys unless it's like very small.
Yeah, I've done it, but only as a one-off here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the industry is tough. Like, it's so saturated at this point.
It is tough, man. It's tough out here.
It's hard because, like, I kind of tell people, like, not everyone. It's past the point where like hard work isn't enough. Like,
you get lucky too.
What did you say?
You get lucky.
That was one of the things. And there's also like, there's somewhat of an it factor that you have to have. Mm-hmm. And I feel bad about telling people this because there are some people who just don't have it. Mm-hmm. Like, and I feel bad about telling them, but I'm kind of like, there's something you need to have in this industry that I can't teach you. Like, you need to pop somehow.
Yeah.
Like, and that's something that's innate. It's
if you don't pop, like, if you don't have like a fun personality when you do shows and stuff and it's boring, no one's going to care.
Yeah.
Period. You need to entertain people or else you're screwed.
As a writer,
simple as that.
As a writer, you can just grind if you want and you'll be able to make it. But if you really want, like, you need to like put yourself on camera and like pop. And like, people ask me like why people like having me on shows or whatever. And
it's fun.
Yeah. I think it's that, and also like there's something about my personality that is interesting. Partially because I'm just ridiculous, but yeah.
Dude, who cares, man? Just have
who cares? But I feel bad because
a lot of football show, like, who gives a shit, you know?
A lot of when people ask me like how to make it better, I'm often just like, be more ridiculous. Yeah, and sometimes that doesn't work for everyone. And then, like, you know.
Yeah, it's tough. Some people, I feel like the problem with some people's, like, shows and stuff is I feel like people try to go for the analytical route, where it's a lot of just, like, very focused, like, stats-driven conversations where they just, like, talk about sleepers for, like, 3 minutes and, like, yeah, like, this guy because, like, his dominator score was high. And, like, you know, it's just not entertaining. Like, it's all very analytical. And, like, if you're coming from the analytics side, you're not going to beat the experts.
Yeah, you're not, and like, it's just tough if your show is boring. Like, I can't think of many successful shows that are boring. I'm not gonna name them, but I can think of 2 or 3 off the top of my head that are relatively successful and boring.
Yes,
and
that's fair.
Those people have massive followings. I don't know how they got them, but they have them already. So that's why their shows are successful.
Yes.
But
well, I feel like, to your point about that, it's like, I feel like it's different then and now because a lot of those shows that are big and they're not as entertaining, it's because they started a long time ago when it wasn't saturated. And then just because if they were there during that time, they get a popular following because they're consistent and they upload and they have good content. It might not be the most entertaining in the world, but they have it. And they were there at the time, so they have it now. And then once you have your audience, it doesn't really matter anymore.
Hey, I'm like that
back every week.
I'm like that too. I've been listening to the same shows forever.
So have I. I listen to the Fantasy Footballers every week.
Yeah, so do I.
3 years.
and once I like become a listener of a show, I usually stay a listener of a show.
Same. Yeah, so once I'm in and I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was funny. Ethan says that Kellen Mond is good. Ethan's my girlfriend's brother. He's a goat. I love Ethan. But
nice.
He's a big Bears fan. And Ethan, okay, tell me in the comments, Ethan, how much of your love for Kellen Mond is a meme and how much of it is legitimate? Like, have you watched any highlights or film of Kellen Mond at all, Ethan? I need to know.
Let's talk about this, because I think people, if they want to hear me talk about fantasy football, they can hear me talk about fantasy football. They can go read my 40 articles, whatever. People, there's enough of me out there. Tell me about.
There's a lot of me.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, tell me about your girlfriend. Like, how did you two like meet? Like, how did that happen? Like,
yeah, for sure.
How long have you been dating?
That's actually what the point of this show is to talk about non-fantasy football, but we kind of just like went down a rabbit hole anyway.
It's all good. It's all good.
We met each other running track in high school. We were on the same track team, and we ran together for like a full year on the same sprint team, and I didn't know who she was for like the longest time. Just because she's like one of the people who are like really shy until you talk to them. Ethan said draft him in the second or third, and if he flops, gonna give you the top pick next year. Thank you, Ethan. Very cool. Anyway, I didn't know who she was for a long time, and then she kind of just started like popping up in the background and stuff, and I kind of noticed. And like I liked her, and then I asked one of my teammates who was a girl. I was like, what's her name? Because I didn't know who she was.
Oh my god!
They told me, and then I went in my car after practice, and I started to find her on like Instagram and stuff. And she didn't have an Instagram at the time. I didn't know that, but she didn't have one. But I didn't know that. And then she added me on Snapchat like a few days after, and then we started talking and kind of went from there. But it actually is her 3-year anniversary tomorrow.
Oh, congratulations! Are you doing anything special for that?
We're out to dinner, but nothing crazy. I mean, we got each other like gifts and stuff, and we're going out to dinner. But
I've been single for a while. Like,
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, a lot of people like don't even know this, but like I used to be married. Like I
didn't know that.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't know that because like you're newer to this. Was something that maybe was discussed. Like I talked about it more. I forget if I talked about it last night on the DLF show. I think that was after we stopped recording. But yeah, no, we broke up at our 2nd year anniversary dinner. That was
dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, bro, I know. Like at the start of the dinner we were celebrating. At the end of the dinner we're not together anymore. So
damn, that's crazy.
Savage, right? Like, isn't that just like, isn't that crazy? Not really. I don't think it's that tough. I think everyone's better off, but yeah.
It actually happened to my friend. Nowhere near the same thing, but we have a joke. We call it breakup dinner. So like what happened? They were dating my best friend. His name's Will. He was dating a girl. And they were dating for almost 3 years. They were dating for like 2 years and like 11 months, like very long time. And they went to McDonald's one day, and she just like started crying, and she was like, "I don't know if I love you anymore," and like all that jazz. And then they went to go see a play at the high school or whatever. And then after that, they went to IHOP, and they literally like posted a picture on their spam accounts on Instagram, and they were like, breakup dinner.
Oh my
God. It was so weird. But
I can't believe that that's like actually a thing though.
Yeah, but like looking back on it though, like it's really funny. But like it's why is that a thing? Why is that a thing that's happened to my friend and you, but like obviously differently?
Yeah, this was very different. It was crazy though. That was right. That was like 2 weeks after I started writing.
Really?
Yes.
Football drove them out of your life.
Pretty much. Kind of feels that way, but I don't know. I think I'm better off with fantasy football than with her. So
that's fair.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. She's not watching this.
What if she is? We have 2 viewers right now. What if she's one of them?
She wouldn't care. I think that I think that she thinks that I hate her more than I actually do. I don't hate her that much. Only a little bit.
Only a little.
Only a little bit, yeah.
Only a little.
What is this comment? I worry about.
Fantasy football is S tier.
Yes.
Ethan knows. He knows.
Will only date someone who is really into fantasy football from now on. You have to like it as much as I do. So that means I'll be single forever.
I was gonna say, good luck with that, man. It's pretty niche.
Hey, if there's
go to the Fantasy Football Expo in Cannes this summer. Maybe
if there's anyone who's watching, no, I'm not gonna say that. But I'll say it anyway. Who cares? If anyone who's watching who's single and likes fantasy football, just
oh my god, dude! What if I put together a fantasy football bachelor for you? That'd be hilarious. I don't think I'd be able to get anyone on, but that'd be amazing.
I would do it. Great. I don't have anything to lose. Like, who cares, right? Like,
Ethan, let's find some people.
I'm not that old. Like,
yeah, I know. How old are you?
26.
Oh yeah, you're fine, man.
Yeah,
you're chilling.
I know, but I do want to find someone eventually.
Oh, we have some spam bot in Twitch chat. Want to become famous? Buy followers and viewers. I don't think I'm gonna.
Hold up. You can buy followers?
On Twitch, you can.
That's so stupid.
It's pointless. I think the only point of getting it is because I think once you get if you buy followers and viewers, that would lead you to be getting affiliate partnered on Twitch, which I think then that allows you to like monetize your content. But if you're not getting there naturally, there's no point really at all.
That's
so
so
pretty
dumb.
Stupid.
Like, I don't see the point of buying followers. Like, what?
Stupid.
What are we doing here? Like,
the only account ever that you would even consider buying followers would be Instagram, because then you could like be like an influencer. But even then, you wouldn't get anyone to like your posts still.
Tell me about Instagram.
What about it?
What do you do on Instagram? I don't use.
I do on Instagram.
What does one do on Instagram? I don't use Instagram.
You just post. It's kind of like, do you use Facebook?
I do, but not. Well, I don't use it.
Let me just show you.
I know.
Oh yeah. That happened to Ethan a second ago because he said someone random bought me followers on accident because he has 68 followers on Twitch and he doesn't use Twitch.
I know like what Instagram is.
I'll show you. Basically, every post has to include a picture. And then it's just a picture and a caption.
I know that.
And then you just go through and you just go and you just scroll through your timeline and you just posts.
No, I know that. I don't get it. Like,
it's just like Facebook.
Is it appealing to people? Like, explain that to me. Like, what is appealing about it?
I feel like it's a good blend between like a photos only app like Visco and anything in the world like Facebook or Twitter. Like it has restrictions, which is good because it enables more creativity with like post variation and stuff like that. But it also isn't too broad to the point where it can be anything in the world and be ununique like Facebook or Twitter.
Okay.
In a sense like that. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't like Instagram that much personally.
Do you do content on Instagram?
I don't. I just have my personal and like a spam account. I post on like random shit for my friends. But I don't run any accounts on Instagram like I do for Twitter stuff.
Oh yeah. Talk about that. How do you run like your social media manager, right?
It's fun. I mean, I'm technically like an intern for all these guys. I mean, I don't make big bucks. Like I paid like $100-ish monthly for some of them. Like it's whatever. It's just some nice side money, but it's nice. It's fun. I love doing it. Like all I do is I just go into Hootsuite. Like for Dynasty Nerds, I wake up every morning. We use Asana, which is like a scheduling website. And then the editor Dennis like schedules for me when to share posts every day. So I go on to Asana, see what articles need to go out for that day, go to the website, grab the links, schedule them to get tweeted out in Hootsuite. And then from there, I just like tweet whatever content I want throughout the day. It really isn't that hard.
So yeah, because like we don't have a social media manager. Like I mean, it says
I don't do anything crazy. Like I really don't. It's literally just like how I tweet and make content for my personal, but I just use it using the brand voice and just I highlight their products whenever they want or stuff like that. And like during games, I'll grab highlights from like the NFL and like tweet it out and all that jazz. But like it's not hard. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's also fun to have a community where like if I tweet something out, it'll get like 500 votes on a poll within like 5 minutes, like stuff like that. Like
even I
really
don't
nice.
have that. Even I don't have that kind of reach.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, they get I don't even know how many impressions they get like per month. I mean, they could probably get a ton, but they have like 27,000 followers.
I finally have gotten to the point where I have enough of a reach that even with no help, if I like no retweet groups, nothing, like just completely alone, if I post something, like I can get enough interaction on it just by myself. But it took a long time to get to that point.
Yeah, that's the reason I stopped using retweet groups a little while. We talked about this in the DMs a little while ago. Yeah. I had a pretty negative experience with retweet groups, not gonna lie. So I joined one a long time ago, and I won't mention the account who was like the owner of it. No, it's a brand. I'll put it in our private chat actually, because I don't care.
I'm the one, by the way, who runs my retweet group, which is the only one that I'm in.
Yeah,
I don't think I would be in one if I'm like the dictator of this group. Like I run it.
Yeah, the thing is I don't like about retweet groups is because
okay. Yeah.
The one I was in, the one I just mentioned, the person who ran it like demanded you retweeted like everything. And then one time I don't like that. Just like for me, I understand. Okay, there's the thing. I understand it. I understand it totally. If you have like a nonverbal agreement, you join a retweet group.
Yeah.
You have to retweet everyone's content. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But for me personally, I don't like having to feel obligated to have to retweet everything, because if I don't necessarily agree with your take or I just don't like your content very much, I shouldn't have to put my label of endorsement on it every single time.
Retweets are not like endorsements.
I think they are.
Oh, you do? I disagree on that.
I think if I retweet your article, it means I like this article. You should look at it.
I totally disagree with that.
Why?
Well, I mean, did you I made a post
I just retweet things I like. I think that if I retweet things, it means I like it. I don't want to have to like I don't think it's a huge deal. I'm just saying, like, if someone posts an article and it has like a clickbaity headline and stuff like that, like I don't feel like I should have to retweet that.
Well, I mean, to give you an example, it's not exactly the same thing. But I made what's his name? Christian Williams recently made a post about being close to 4,000 followers, blah, blah, blah. And like, look, him and I agree on almost nothing. Nothing. Like, I can't remember the last time we agreed. I disagree with almost every take he has.
That's fair.
And I'm willing to I'm willing to tell him that. I told him that to his face.
I like Christian though. He's a nice guy.
I do like him.
He's a good dude.
I quote tweeted his post, and I was like, look, I don't agree with Christian on almost anything ever, but you should go follow him anyway. So it's like, I think that kind of thing makes it very clear. And I usually don't have to do that, but like, it's kind of like a retweet is not an endorsement of the take.
No, sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean like for example, I have Jamar Chase as my wide receiver 1. If you tweet that you have Jamar Chase as your wide receiver 3 in your rankings, I'll still retweet your rankings to support you. Yeah. I'm saying, like, sometimes I just don't feel like the thing I don't like about retweet groups is I just don't feel like I should have to retweet everything. Like, I should be able to retweet things that I want to retweet. Right.
So I think I run my group a little bit differently. First of all,
thank you, Ethan.
I handpicked everyone in there. So
yeah, that's good. That's a good first step.
Nobody got in there without me picking them.
Yeah,
which, that sounds like douchey, right? Like off the bat. Like, I'm like this guy who just like decided, okay, you are the people who are good enough to be in here. Like,
you're allowed to be here.
Sound good, right? Like, that sounds bad, but you need that. You need someone to decide like who actually creates good content.
My laptop is dying. I'm trying to plug it in. I don't know why it's not charging. 1 second. Keep going.
But yeah, that's basically what I do. Like, I picked out people and I was like, all right, you all create good content. Like, come join. And then when it comes to the retweeting, I was like, look, I get it. There are 10 to 15 posts in here a day. If you don't retweet everything, I get it. Like, I'm not the retweet police. I'm not going to be like, well, you retweeted, Sometimes I'll go look. If you retweeted nothing over like 3 weeks, we're going to have a conversation. And
yeah, you shouldn't be in the group if you don't retweet anything.
And I had that conversation with someone in there. They got pissed at me. And I was like, well, I'm sorry. And then he said something like, well, I guess you can enjoy like not me, like you'll miss out on me retweeting like one of your articles.
Oh,
like,
come on.
And I was like,
hate
bro,
like
I have 5 times the I don't need you. Like,
they had less followers than you too?
So I have the most followers of anyone in this group, I believe. So like, or close. Or if I don't have the most, it's it's purpose. Nobody who has like, if you have 10K followers, you're not invited. Like you don't
need a retweet group.
You don't need this. Like you're not. Even I'm already probably too big for this. But like, you don't need this group. Like you're not in here. Like this is not for you. Like most people who are in here have like 400 or 500 followers, or it's certainly less than 1,000. I purposely picked out people who have less.
So they can grow. Exactly.
I didn't pick out people who had more. Although there are, sometimes someone who has a lot and is like really great, I was like, I want this person in here. They might have a lot of followers, but I don't care. Like I want them here. They make like great content. They're always good about sharing like other people's work. I want them in here. But when I was like going out and looking for people, I certainly wasn't looking for people who had a lot of followers. I'm looking for people who had
the sick headline. Let's go.
Yes. The pros and cons of retweet groups. But yeah, I understand that not everyone is going to retweet anything. If you're posting a lot, and retweeting nothing, I will notice.
Yes.
I will notice that. If you are not posting at all and not retweeting much,
it's not really a problem.
I don't really care. Like, you're lurking. Maybe you just went off Twitter for a while. Like, I'm not the retweet police, but believe me, if you're posting every day and retweeting nothing, I'll notice. But then among everyone else who just kind of is, which is the majority of people, because I post in there almost every day just because I have so much. Like, I have so many articles, so many podcasts. Like, I don't even post everything in there because that would be ridiculous. But like, if you're posting and I kind of said like, hey, like make a good effort. Like retweet something. Do something. I don't expect perfection, but try to do something. Like don't just that kind of thing. Like you know what I mean? Like make a good faith effort to contribute to the process. And I check it every once in a while to see if people are really just not contributing. And if they're not contributing, then we have a conversation like the conversation I had. That conversation went poorly. And, I blocked them and that's it. So, I don't have time for that. It's fine. Like,
dude, can we talk for a second? I hate blocking people on Twitter. It makes me feel dirty.
I do it. I'm so easy with it.
Oh, really? You use it all the time?
Yeah, all the time.
It scares me because like, I don't want to get the reputation of I'm too soft to like handle criticism. I don't want to be that guy.
I'm fine with that.
No. I'm not saying that's a problem. I'm saying like for me, like I get scared that like if I block somebody who's like trolling me and then they go behind my back, like after I block them, like this guy's a piece of shit. Like I don't want that.
Let him.
I'm just too much of a people pleaser.
I don't care. Like
you don't care. I respect it. I do.
I don't care. Like if I like,
dude, I swear to God, there's at least 20 people that follow me, and all they do is debate me in my comment section.
I always say,
swear to God,
I'm fine telling someone just get out of my comment section. Like you're not welcome here. Like go away.
You're with an iron fist, man. I appreciate that.
I do because it's my comment section.
I appreciate it.
Like if you're not welcome there, like I don't want you there. Like go away.
That's true.
I often also do the thing. It's one of the other things I often say, and people hate me for this, but hey, I don't care anymore. I often say like depending on what the mood I'm in and how nice you were to me in the first place, some version of follow me or get out. It's like, if you're pissing me off and you don't even follow me,
that's always so weird. Okay, like
you're like 10 seconds away from the block button. Yeah. So it's like if that's how you tell me, like If you follow me, that probably means you still want to be here. If you don't, and you don't respond, I'll just forget it. If you respond again with something negative, immediate block button.
Yeah. I always was interested, and like sometimes that happens to me sometimes too. I don't really get a lot of negative comments.
I do.
Sometimes I do. You do? Really? Interesting.
Yes.
I do sometimes, but like not really. I mean, like people will disagree with me. Most shit I actually have gotten on Twitter in a while was the other day when I posted a picture of my nachos at like 1 a.m.
That got you shit.
People were roasting the hell out of me in my comments. Yeah, let me pull them up. I didn't block anybody, and I didn't give a shit because they were literally just nachos. I mean, they look bad, but they're delicious, I promise. But everyone was like roasting.
People roasted you for fucking nachos?
Yes. Let me find it. I posted this picture. This is clearly a joke, is it not? It says, "You know what time it is?" # the nachos with this terrible picture of nachos.
Oh my god,
they're good. And these were the comments. This one wasn't that bad. He said, "I will literally DoorDash you nachos." This guy doesn't follow me. "I will literally DoorDash you nachos if you promise you never post a picture of your homemade nachos again. For real, I'm sure they'll taste better than they look, but woof, those look bad." And someone else replied to that. Okay, no. That was a better one. And he said, "I will literally." He said, "He 100% microwave those two for shame." And I said, "Whatever." That guy was fine. And then this random girl who never followed me said, "This makes me want to Venmo you. You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
That's a good comment, though. That's funny.
No, that was funny. I was just like, "Why? Like, who are you?" And then this other person that commented, who didn't follow me, I forget what he said. Where did he go? Where did it go? Hang on. There's a lot of people. It's not as bad that I'm trying to find it now. Someone said, "One of the white people don't season their food is this," from another guy who doesn't follow me. Some people, I don't know. People were just roasting me for no reason. Essentially, it was fine. It really wasn't that bad, but like it was just bothering me because I was like, "Why do you guys care?"
Yeah.
Like, why do you guys care?
People
it doesn't make sense to me.
So I have enough followers that I sometimes get people posting on my stuff that don't understand what I'm talking about. Like
that happened to me a few times too. It's so annoying. It happened one time. I made a take about Dak, and I said Dak's going to be a top 5 QB next year, and I was clearly talking about fantasy football.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah,
and it hits real life NFL Twitter, and they're like, "Dude, you don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, "Dude, it's a fantasy football take, and that's likely going to happen." So what are you doing?
Oftentimes, also, I hit redraft fantasy football Twitter when I'm not talking about redraft. Like that's more common, but sometimes I do get real life NFL Twitter too. But yeah, it is very annoying. Like a lot of people just like are just like whenever I post rankings, they just like laugh at them or like they're just like, "This is stupid," and I'm like, my response is often like, "Do you have anything insightful to say?" And there's almost never a response to that.
If people say
there is.
If people who say really mean shit, I usually just don't reply.
I usually do reply. Like
I don't. I don't like instigating things. It makes me nervous. Well, not nervous. It just like stresses me out.
Oh, I'm.
That's not the way I am. I'm just not wired that way. Like I like to avoid confrontation if possible.
Oh, I'm all for it. Like
I know people who are like that, and that's totally fine. It just makes me stressful.
Put it this way, I don't seek out confrontation, but if you come into my house, which is my comments on my post, and you're being obnoxious, I am going to give it to you. Like I will be like, "No, like you will not do this here. Like this is not going to work. Like do you have anything good to say?" And if it's no, the block button is right there for you. Like
it's right there.
It's right there, and you will be getting it. And I am fine with it. I do not care. I have 5,000 plus other people who are more interesting to me for me to talk to than you. So you can just mosey on along to the next person that you're going to annoy today.
Yeah.
But yeah,
actually, though, one thing that actually does bother me that's kind of annoying. It's a joke. Like I don't mind when people say I look like I'm 12, like as a joke, because it's hilarious. I am only 20, and I'm Ooh, Ethan just bought a massage gun. That's a W, dude.
I don't know what that is.
It's like he plays a lot of sports. He's a soccer player, and it looks like a gun, but it's a trigger, and then there's like a ball at the end, and then it vibrates, and you can like rub it on your leg.
It just doesn't look like that. But anyway, go on with the you being 12.
Yeah, but actually, like, I don't give a shit at all when someone says I'm 12 as a joke. But like, if someone ever like tries to discredit my takes and be like, dude, you're literally like 13, lol. I'm like, dude, literally fuck off. I'm probably more informed than you are anyway. So like, it's just really annoying. Like, I don't like it when people try to discredit my stuff sometimes because I'm young. And I don't think that happens very often at all, but it's happened a couple times and it really pisses me off.
Yeah. It's like,
it's a joke though. Like, it's totally a joke. Like, I tweeted out earlier that, I posted a selfie of myself and I was like, without cheating, how old do I look? And a lot of people were in the comments for like 3. And like, that's hilarious. Like, I think that's really funny. But like, anytime I post something and people were like, yeah, you're literally 11, like, shut up. Like, what do you, like, why?
Yeah, I hate it when people do that. People are
Ethan, I can't see the picture in the chat.
People are stupid. Like, they're mean to people just because they're like younger or like, you know, I don't get it too much. Sometimes I get a little bit of the like, well, you don't look like you play football. Like I don't
does that matter?
No. And you know, it is what it is. But I get that from time to time. It's actually not that common.
That's fair.
But yeah, do people really say that to you like that often? Like,
rarely, like maybe once a month, but like every couple weeks, like someone will like say something like that negative. But it really doesn't bother me that much. But it's just like, really, like that's your reasoning from not liking my information.
People should back off. Like, don't they realize like the younger generation is gonna like be the ones like ruling the world eventually? Like they gotta back up.
Well, it's not that bothers me. It's just like, I know if I sat down with their like 50-year-old ass and had a sports debate, I can definitely hold my own. So like, why does it matter? You know, I mean, I might not know as much about the running backs in the 2010s as you did, but like, I definitely know the ones now. So
I'm 26, but I don't think I act like I'm 26. Like,
I mean, 26 is extremely young still. So like,
right. But I feel like I definitely have. Like, you're 20, right? So
yeah,
I think my attitude is still more similar to yours than it is to someone who's 30. Like, I just like I have trouble with this sometimes. Like, I'm pretty young and like I act like a young person, and sometimes I don't fit in with people who have like older attitudes. Like, I definitely have that, like, I'm a little obnoxious but also kind of sensitive combination that's kind of common among young people. Yeah. And I own it. Like, I don't say that that's not true. It is true. That's how I am.
That is kind of a weird thing though with fantasy Twitter. Like, for me especially, like being younger, like I can't memeify things the way I would like to, because I feel like people would not perceive it correctly.
Yeah.
like if I just posted if I posted like a deep fried picture of Mitch Trubisky and the caption is like beans, like no one would enjoy. But if I did that to a pool of 19-year-olds, they would enjoy.
Yeah.
So it's different. Is what I mean.
But also, like, my content, like my writing looks like an old man wrote it. Like,
see, I like try to keep my content like more like upbeat and fun, like all the time.
But when I'm on a show,
this is the massage gun you bought, apparently.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Fancy.
I also, like, I don't know. I'm very like, you would not guess that I was, if you just read my articles and did nothing else, you would think I was a completely different person. Like, those articles don't represent me as a personality very well.
That's fair.
I just happen to write that way.
Yeah, one thing that my English teachers always told me in high school was that my personality really comes through when I write. Like, I always try to make my things funny, no matter what it is. I've always just been that way. I mean, I don't think I'm that funny. Like, I always just like try to make it humorous in some form of the matter, no matter what I'm writing about.
Oh, I'm hilarious, but you need.
I know.
You need my facial expressions. Like my
Yes.
facial expressions and my tone of voice and like the way I say things is the funny part. Not really what I'm saying. So like it doesn't just in an article I just stick to like the dry, like solid research. And don't
Adam Schefter just tweeted. It's not breaking news, it's just a weird headline.
What'd he say?
Why is it not loading now? Okay, here we go. Wait, where'd it go? Now it's not loading again. I think it said Adam Schefter tweeted. It's like a story. NBC, it's a podcast. It's with NBC analyst Chris Sims explaining why he would pick Zach Wilson over Trevor Lawrence in this year's draft.
Well, that's stupid.
That's just a massive L.
Do we need to give Chris Sims airtime for that take?
No, we don't. Like, but he will get it because he's a big person in media and he is making a bold claim. It is dumb. It's a dumb claim.
He can make dumb claims. I mean, there are a lot of people making dumb claims this draft season. What else is new? Like,
that's true.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I say this a lot. Like, I'm sorry that I have Trevor Lawrence as my QB1. I'm very sorry.
Shut up, Ethan.
I'm sorry that I'm boring and I have Trevor Lawrence as my QB1.
Same. My ranks are usually very consensus-y. And like, I'm like, it's boring, but it's accurate. And I don't think there's
I'd rather be accurate and boring. It's one of my, I had this quote on my last podcast. It was like, you know, entertain with your personality and give the advice that you think is real. If you're entertaining,
I totally agree.
By giving,
I think that's one of the reasons that like channels like ESPN and stuff are trying like getting a little old as far as like the normal talk shows in the sense of like their takes sometimes, like not ESPN, but like I always think of Skip Bayless as the prime example.
Well, ESPN is bad.
Yeah, they are not very good.
It's unwatchable.
It's not great.
It's gone too much to the just like entertainment and not enough information. Like it's just it's just a bunch of nonsense. So like, you know,
is these your official patented rankings, Ethan?
Huh.
Trask is too low, but I can get behind it.
I mean, that's my top 5 in that exact order.
Yeah, that is also my top 5 in that order. It's Lawrence, Fields, Wilson, Lance, Mack. I would go Trask, then Monty Mills, probably.
Yeah, I'd go what you said, the same exact. So
good job, Ethan. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. We kind of got off the trail of retweet groups, but
we did.
Suffice it to say, they are useful.
I'll give my 2 cents on them here for a second,
for it.
Real quick though. So like what my experience with retweet groups was, I do enjoy them. I think they're very beneficial for smaller accounts or just accounts in general to grow your content. I prefer optional retweet groups. Like we have one for Dynasty Nerds where it's everyone who's a writer or contributor for Dynasty Nerds is in a retweet group. And if you ever share anything that you want to get shared, it's optional and you can retweet it if you want. You still get a fair amount of retweets. So say there's 100 accounts. There's not. But say there's 100 people. You put it in there, you probably get about 15 or 20, which is, I think that's good. But I like it that way. I like being able to retweet what I want and what I really like rather than someone forcing me. But anyway, so here's the reason I don't do them anymore. So after I joined that one with that account I told you about earlier, I just didn't like it very much. I just like there were like maybe like 40 things in there a day. There was a lot of stuff. And that account I was telling you about, I don't know how you feel about them at all, but my personal experience with them, their headlines are kind of clickbaity and weird. Like for example, they would headline something like, here's a thrilling piece of dynasty analysis. And like it was just like really like cringe. Yeah. And I just didn't like retweeting those headlines because I just didn't think it's good journalism. And I just didn't like associating myself with them.
Really. I understand that.
Which is, I just didn't like it very much. And then one day they approached me to say something like what you were saying. Because I retweeted everyone's content in their group except for theirs. And they ran it.
No notice.
Exactly. They ran it and they didn't DM me. They put it in the group one day.
Woo!
That they were like, "Hey man, can you get one of ours?" And then we'll retweet yours. And I was like, "Yeah, sure." But like it was just like very passive aggressive and then full group. And I was just like, I don't like this drama. I really just didn't fuck with them. Like just straight up.
Yeah.
And so then I made my own retweet group at some point, and it was just, I called it like show some love retweets or something like that. And I wanted it to be optional so people didn't feel pressured into like doing stuff like that. And it was fine. It was good. And then but then Pro Football Mania. Oh wait, I mentioned them. Oh well, sorry.
Who cares?
Okay, sorry. Who cares? So it's Pro Football Mania. Sorry, Pro Football Mania. I just don't fuck with you guys. I love you, but I don't. But they joined my retweet group, and then it kind of went downhill from there because they started flooding it, and it was just not good. Which is, it is what it is. It's all good intentions, but I remember one day in mine, unprompted, it was like Christmas or something, and I said something along the lines of, hey, I hope you guys all have a great Christmas. Just a reminder that this group is just to show love to people you support. You don't have to feel pressured to retweet every single piece of content. Just retweet what you want and just support people. We encourage retweets, but like whatever you want, really. Just support people that you love and just hang out. Because like you said, like I kind of handpicked the people who joined for the most part until things kind of like went off the rails somehow. I forget how. But it was just meant to show support to people who you were like close friends with and like really fuck with their content and just like, retweet their shit. Like if you sent me DMs and like tell me to retweet stuff or like ask, like I definitely would, obviously.
Hey, I never will. But
no, I don't. Okay, this is the problem. Like I'm fine with retweeting people's stuff, just not literally everything you tweet. But I love retweeting stuff. From people I like. Like a lot of my favorite accounts, I retweet everything, like everything. But it just depends. But sorry. So what I was getting at is I wrote this paragraph about like just retweet what you want. Hope you guys all have a great Christmas. Like thanks for joining the group. And it wasn't prompted by anything at all. I was just doing it just be nice. And then in the other retweet group, I was still in the one I didn't like very much, and the account I didn't like very much. They wrote up this whole paragraph right after I posted mine, saying, "Hey, like we get it, it's Christmas. You miss every once in a while, but we expect you to retweet every piece of content." And I was just like, dude, really? Like,
that's not how I handle things.
No, like I just didn't like it. And then after that, I just left the one group I didn't like very much. And then after a while, I kind of just grew away from the idea of doing retweet groups, the one I ran, just because I'm trying to phrase this correctly. I like retweet groups a lot. They're very beneficial, but I got to the point with my following and stuff where I could get organic growth. So then from there, I was like, well, one, I don't really need this anymore, but two, I want to make it more challenging for myself to like build an actual community and get impressions and stuff on my own. And I did, and it's been awesome. I've seen some good success from it, but
you're doing great, by the way, in case you
needed. Thank you. Seriously.
Like
I take compliments really badly because I know like it, but thank you. I appreciate it. But like I just don't like being cocky at all. It feels dirty. I like being a Mr.
I'm fine. Man. I don't have any problem with that.
No, dude, I love your content. Congrats on, was it 5K you just got the other day?
5K, yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
But I don't care. I don't care about the number, man. I mean,
I know, but you can't lie. It feels nice to look at your account and see 5.
It feels nice, but what feels a lot better is knowing that like there are people signing up for DLF because of me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because they told me like, hey, I signed up. I made an account at DLF because you write there. I got a subscription. And I'm like, really? Like you got a whole subscription to a site just because I write there? Like, sick, thank you. Like that's
seriously,
really nice.
Congrats. I know sometimes on your Twitter you go through a little bit with your grind and all that, but like you've done a lot of awesome work.
A little bit, yeah. But it's mostly fine. But yeah, you have like you're doing what you're like the right path. Like it's working.
Thanks.
Like trust
me. I seriously, I've been loving it. I mean, I'm a nerd about it. I mean, I love social media growth and stuff.
You're a lot better at it than I am.
That's the thing. It's weird that like, okay, so like the secret, well, not the secret is there's no secret, but like I always say like people always ask me like for like advice and stuff, and like my advice is so basic. Like for social media, like I feel like a lot of people think I really know what I'm doing, but I really don't. But I do at the same time. Like it's so simple, but it's not. Like my advice for like growing smaller accounts is like literally just like go on follow sprees, stay on trending topics, use emojis and GIFs often because even if they're cringy at times, they catch eyes. Just like retweet stuff, build meaningful connections, be genuine to yourself. Don't feel forced to stay within like a genre of posting. But like that's really like that's it. Like There's nothing. Yeah. There's no secret sauce, like it's literally just tweeting.
Most of your advice was stuff I already knew. So
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I was hoping you had like a magical secret.
There's none. There is none. There's not. There really isn't. It's literally
totally fine. But
yeah, I know. Well, I think it's seriously just because there isn't a secret. I mean, I'm sure there is somewhere where you can like. The only like secrets is doing things that benefit the algorithm well, which is like, including images and GIFs in your posts. But that's really it. There's no secret sauce.
But if that were really true, my top like 10 interacted posts are all just lists 1 to 12, all text, no images, nothing.
Exactly. That's the thing. Is like even if you do pump the algorithm of stuff that the algorithm likes, you may not hit exactly what you need, So
maybe the algorithm it's crazy. Like lists 1 to 12. Maybe that's something that we can learn from this.
Yeah, I think the thing is,
if I post the rankings in tiers, if I post them in when I post 13 to 24, no. When I post 1 to 12,
that's the magic
explosion. Yeah, explosion of even if I didn't share them, like even organically, like before I even shared it, it had like 15 likes and like 10 comments before I even asked for any help. So I don't know what I would have gotten on my own, but it would have been enough. The only reason I do it is for the retweets. People probably think that I retweet, back to my retweet group. People probably think I post in there too much, but I think it's worth it because I retweet everything.
You're a retweet machine?
Everything. I retweet every single thing that comes in there. So maybe I post the most, but I also retweet the most. So I think it's fair that I can post the most if I actually retweet everything. So I don't feel
that was another thing that when I was in retweet groups that I felt dirty retweeting everything because I didn't want to flood my timeline, but apparently it doesn't matter. So.
It does not matter. I always say like your timeline is not like it's not a space like a physical space. Like you can put as much stuff on there as you want, and it's not going to be a problem. Like
one thing I found was really interesting on Twitter when I'm a nerd with the analytics and stuff because I do social media stuff more often. Oh wait, Ethan, so your omelet. Put ham and cheese in it. That's what I would do. Ham and cheese. Bye. Anyway, the analytics and stuff. I find it really interesting that you get a lot of profile clicks, a lot more than you'd anticipate for tweets and stuff.
Like me or
in general? Like I find that like when when you tweet something, you can look at the analytics at the bottom. Like you can click the little button, and it'll show you like how many impressions or whatever your tweet gets.
Do
you not look at it? I always do.
Never look at. No, I don't have time for that.
Really? Okay, I do it all the time. Let me show you. Hang on. Like this. So this is my Amon-Ra St. Brown thread I did right here. There's a little button right there that says view tweet activity. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little gray one right here in the middle. It's like right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know that's there, but I never use it.
Yeah, I always use it. And like one thing that's always interesting. Oh, I got one profile click on this one, but like sometimes my tweets get a lot of profile clicks. I did this one time to troll people. I don't know if you fell for it or if I talked to you about it. I think it was like a week before April Fool's Day, and somebody tweeted something along the lines of I think it was Dave. How do you pronounce his last name? Klug?
Dave Klug? I think it's Klug.
Klug?
I think it's Klug.
Sure, yeah. We'll go with that. Dave's a nice guy, but anyway, he tweeted out that he'd been using the block button a lot recently, and then somebody replied back to them. He was like, "Dave, you know how that's how you get profile clicks, but if you want to get more, you tweet out, I unfollowed a lot of people lately." And
I loved it.
You saw that I did?
Yes, loved it.
It was great. It was so funny. Thank you. I thought that was hilarious. So I tweeted out, for those who don't know, I tweeted, I've unfollowed a lot of people lately. Only the OGs remain. And I actually didn't unfollow anybody. And then I put in my bio, I like erased all that was like normally in there. And I put like, you actually thought I unfollowed you, Lamau, like you're gullible. And I look at the profile clicks for that tweet. I don't know if I can find it, but there were like 700 profile clicks on that tweet. Like everyone was going to check my account. Cool. And like the best part about it was that so many people thought it was real. Like people like just like clicked real quick to see if I was following them still, and they're like, "Oh my god, thank God I'm still in." And it was like so funny. It was so funny.
I don't unfollow too many people. I mean,
neither do I.
Like,
not gonna lie though, I did a while ago. I went in and unfollowed because my the follower ratio is all kinds of fucked up, and I didn't want it to have like when I hit like 3,000 followers that I'll be following like 4,000 accounts because it just doesn't make you look as reputable.
I know.
Even as shitty as it is,
that's the case, but
it is. It's true though. It's true.
Yeah.
And, like if like there's a guy on Twitter, I don't know who it is, and it's no shade to the person at all. He has a yellow like profile pic background. Forget who he is, but he follows. I think he has like almost 10,000 followers or like just over 10,000 followers, but he's following like 11,000 accounts. And like that just makes it look so unreputable.
I'd rather have.
It sucks. It sucks that it's like that, but it's just the case.
Well, okay. I'd rather have more followers and a less good ratio than not have more followers. If that makes sense.
For sure. But at the same time, though, a lot of those following, you're only doing that to get followers back. So you're building an artificial community, so you won't get engagement.
Anymore. Like
that's what I'm saying.
I don't do that. Like. I don't follow people anymore. Like,
oh, you don't? Like if someone follows you, you don't follow them back?
No. I don't follow anyone. It's someone follows me, and then my decision, do I follow back or not?
And yeah, I do that too. Well, I do the same thing what you do. It's like when someone follows me, I look at their account and decide if I want to follow them back or not.
Every time someone follows me, I'm still small enough that I have time for this. Every time someone follows me, I look at their account. Like, who is this person? And then I quickly decide, do I follow back, yes or no? And it's usually no. But sometimes it's yes. I mean, today, like, who followed me today that I followed back? I mean, the guy from the podcast I did. And I'm glad I looked because he doesn't have any mutual followers with me. I wouldn't have noticed if I had.
Oh, really?
Well,
who was it?
Well, no, it was his name's Javier, but he was the guy from the podcast I did in Spanish. So like, obviously he's not going to have mutual followers. He's not going to have a lot of mutual followers with me. So like, but I just noticed in his bio that he was from the Fantastico Tocho podcast. So I was like, okay, I know who you are. I'll follow you back. But otherwise I might've missed that. Because usually I just look at the mutuals. Like if I have like 400 mutuals, like that's probably a sign that this might be a person I want to follow.
I don't look at the mutuals. I usually look at how many followers they have, and then I look at the mutuals. Like if someone has like
the mutuals.
Oh, you do? If someone has
7K followers.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
If someone has 7K followers and their account is about like who knows it, whatever, like I don't want to follow someone whose account is about like, I don't know, what's a good example? Like, I can just think of one. Here's someone who followed me about like, EDM music. Like, I don't care how you can have 20,000 followers, and I'm probably not following.
I don't care if you have a lot of followers. I'll follow you no matter what your subject is.
Oh, that's
if they follow me.
But then like nonsense.
I want to build connections. Well, I'm trying to build connections with the higher ups, man.
Oh,
I'm trying to climb that ladder.
That doesn't no. I want to build connections with people who are influencing the football space. If you're not in the football space, you're not getting a follow back from me, no matter what, no matter how many followers you have.
Well, what if they have like, what if they are like an EDM artist, but they love football and they follow a lot of football accounts? Well, I mean, what if you have mutuals, but they're like an EDM account? Like,
if you're posting about football and you're like in the football space, then sure. But if you're just like, if you just happen to follow me for whatever reason, like, I'm probably not going to follow you back. But yeah, I do follow people back. I mean, I have like, I'm following like 2,000. Like, it's not like I follow 0. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I have to follow like 500 people. Like, I don't like, I look so great because I follow like 30. I actually dislike those people. Like,
dislike what people?
There are people who like have 9,000 followers and follow like 30. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no. Like,
I feel like if you have like 3,000 followers, you should be following at least like 800 people.
Well, no, I understand people who don't want to follow more than like 500 or 600 people, no matter what.
That's true. Because, like Andy Holloway, for example, follows like 460.
No, I understand following. You know, some people don't want clutter on their timeline. I understand if you only want to follow like 400, 500, 600 people. But if you're following like 30 people, like I have an issue. Like that just shows that you have just no interest in like interacting with the community at all. You just want to do your own thing. And I probably just won't follow your account no matter how big you are. Unless you follow me first, then maybe I'll follow you back.
Then I will.
But like,
then if you're part of the elite group of 30, then you feel special.
If I'm part of the elite group of 30, but yeah, I mean, there are people. You know, if you follow me and you basically, if you create any football content at all, I'll probably follow you back.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't create content, but you're really active in the football community, I might follow you back. It depends on your account. If I think your account, I'll take you get like 10 seconds. So like
you get a once over and that's it. You get an elevator pitch.
I still have just enough time for this. Like I still have just enough time.
Oh, dude, I have all the time in the world to look at my Twitter followers. I don't care.
Okay, but if I had 50,000 followers, I wouldn't have time for this. Like
yes.
But at 5,000, I still do to see who's following me. But like again, if you're in the football community, even if you don't write for a website and every post is about football and it's all about fantasy football, I'll probably give you a follow back because maybe I'll want to interact on one of your posts someday.
Dude, the thing is with my account now is like half my stuff isn't about fantasy football though. Like half of it's like Pokemon and half of it's like
okay,
dude. And
but the first thing I look at is the bio. Like if anyone
follows,
if
you look at my bio. Mine's like I write for Fantasy Pros News Desk. I do social media for Dynasty Nerds.
If I see anything like writer for Dynasty Nerds, writer somewhere, I'll just give an Insta follow back. I won't even look. I don't need to look at their timeline. If they followed me and they're like a Dynasty writer, I will follow you back. Like I will.
Yeah, that's true.
That I don't need to look. But it's for the people where I'm like, I can't tell from the bio who is this person. Like then I'll have to like go and give them a look. I'll give them a quick look and be like, and sometimes I get people where every post is about politics, and then I'm like,
oh, dude, I really don't like. I don't like the fantasy accounts that is like right wing political central.
Well, I won't.
There's a lot of them. It's crazy.
Yeah, I won't. I respect that people can talk about whatever they want on Twitter. That is your choice. At the same time, it's my choice who I want to follow on Twitter. And that's what I always say to people. You don't have to follow anyone. You can follow whoever you want. Follow who you want to see.
Dude, I think it's kind of crazy though in the
fantasy
community now is like I had somebody a couple months ago who I unfollowed because I didn't like their content very much. Or they were kind of rude or something at one point, and I unfollowed them. Because they weren't even following me. And they DM'd me like a month ago. And they were like, hey, man, like, why'd you unfollow me?
Oh, my God.
And I was like, I completely lied. I was like, I don't remember unfollowing you. Sorry. And then.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It was so awkward. I was like, why are you doing this? It was so weird. So that's why I don't unfollow people a lot. Because like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings.
I did go through recently at some point and unfollow a bunch of people who I never interacted with, who weren't following me, and who I just like kind of wasn't a big fan of. And I was just like, all right, I don't interact with you. I don't want to follow you. Like I followed you a long time ago. Like, and I don't have to follow you. Like it's just, you did not earn keeping my follow. Like, my follow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that we even have to consider that. Like, we really don't owe any of these people shit. Is the weird thing.
Yeah, I mean, there are, but see, that's the other thing. Like, to me, there is a cost to interacting with me. You need, essentially, the way I play it is on Twitter. You need, essentially, really, I will get annoyed with you. You need to follow me to interact with me. That's just how I play it. If you don't follow me, I'll probably tell you some version of what I said before. Like, what
if your tweet goes semi-viral? Like, what if you get like 150?
That's never really happened. It's never gone viral enough that's been. I don't have something that has like thousands of likes. That's never happened to me.
Well, like for example, like I'm not Mr. Viral, but like those birth month quarterback things I've been doing recently, I've been getting good traction. And like the one I got the other day, like those get like. they get like 150 like quote tweets or like 150 likes, and like random people who I don't follow me or I don't follow. That sometimes they interact with those, and like I don't have a problem with that at all. So like I was just curious, like if even if it's a positive reaction.
It's a good question. A positive interaction is different. The real thing is when I post threads asking about dynasty advice or start sit, if you interact in those threads and you're not following me, I will notice and I will not be happy because I'm giving
even if it's nice.
Yes, I'm giving dynasty advice for free. Yes, I'm giving dynasty advice for free, and if you don't follow me, that shows that you don't appreciate it. You don't really want my dynasty advice. You don't want my I literally post a thread. The thread is often for my followers. It's something along those lines. I love doing it for my followers. I love giving dynasty advice. You can ask me anything about dynasty, but I'm like, if you don't follow me, like hitting the follow button isn't, you're getting your dynasty question answered for nothing.
So you feel as though your time is worth the minimal investment of a follow.
If you can't click the follow button, don't bother asking me a dynasty question. Like, just don't bother. That shows you don't really want to.
See, for me, I mean, I'm a smaller account than you are, but like for me, if accounts that don't follow me if someone were to DM me who didn't follow me and ask me a trade question.
Oh, a DM. We'll get started on that.
Oh, you don't like DMs? If someone DMs me and asks me for trade advice, I feel kind of honored that they would value my advice to the point of asking me if they follow me. If they don't follow me, I still don't care.
No one DMs me who doesn't follow me, really. So
it doesn't happen to me very often either. But sometimes people who don't follow me will DM me. Or I don't follow them. They don't get like stuff like that.
It's often people who they follow me, but I don't follow them who DM me, and I just tell them no. But that's because
you just tell them no.
I do. Well, I have a Patreon. You can buy that. Like that service is for sale. Like I no longer have the time to answer every fantasy question I get in DMs. I do not have time for that anymore. Like, if I did, that's all I would do all day. And the only reason I don't get a zillion of them is because I've told the last 100 people who've asked me no. And I have
one thing that's so awkward about running the Dynasty Nerds Twitter, though, is that people send DMs for Twitter. They send Twitter DMs asking about fantasy questions all the time, assuming that it's Garrett, Rich, or Matt. But it's not. It's me. And I can't answer them unless it's blatantly obvious because I don't want to give them bad advice that's not directly from, even if it's good advice.
That is
I don't want
weird,
to give them. I don't want to give them advice that's not from the brands necessarily.
That's a weird spot
because like I work for them and like I've written for them. I rank for them. So like clearly my advice is able to be given to their consumers.
Yeah,
but they're thinking it's coming from the host of the podcast.
Yeah,
it's weird to reply and be like, yeah, do that because it's not. It's not. Yeah. It is.
DLF is a little different from Dynasty Nerds. Like we don't have like the people who owns Dynasty Nerds. It's those three, right?
It's right. I think Rich is like he's like the main owner, but like I think Garrett and Matt also co-own.
Right. At DLF, it's a little different though. The people who own DLF are not necessarily the faces of DLF. I mean, Ryan is, but like. There are a lot of the, more prominent DLF analysts don't own DLF at all. Like they're just analysts. So they don't, and the DLF podcast is not hosted by the owners of DLF.
Yes.
Ryan is, but Dan and Matt are not, not owners of DLF at all. So like, it's a little different.
It's an interesting phenomena. Well, still in general though, even if DLF, the podcast people are not the owners of the company, even if they DM the social media guy, let's say it would be me, it's not who they think they're giving the advice from.
That's
which is
true,
still it's still interesting.
Definitely
thing.
Not.
Like, the thing that's weird is like even if you tag the Dynasty Nerds account on Twitter, just like tweet, like if you were to tweet at Dynasty Nerds and be like, "Hey, Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey in a Superflex Dynasty trade," I can't reply. What I do, well, I can, but I don't. What I do is I always just tag Rich and Garrett, and then they reply. But it's weird.
Yeah, I don't do anything in the DMs anymore. I basically just say no. Here's my Patreon. Sign up if you want.
Do you have patrons?
Yes. But
Nice.
no one ever signed. Nobody ever signs up for it that way.
They're probably like, okay, fuck off. I'll just go ask everyone
I'm basically telling them I'm too big to respond to your question. I think I deserve money. Get out of my DMs. And like, I understand.
I get that to a certain extent. I guess I view it differently in the sense that if it's a one-time question, or if you just have like a simple question for me, I have no problem taking 10 seconds to answer your question.
I can't do it.
You're busy. That's fair. That's fine.
No, that's not why I can't do it. If I'm charging people for that exact thing, how can I do it for other people for free? I can't do that.
That's true.
That's a huge no-no. Like and you know, the line there gets gray, right? Because the problem is Ethan. But the line there is very gray, right? Because what do? I still answer questions in DMs from people who are like really close friends of mine. So like it is a little bit of a gray area. Like, how close to me do you have to be for me to answer that question in the DMs, and how, like, where is that line? And I struggle with that. Like,
see, for me, like, I made a Patreon recently, and the only patron currently is my dad. Shout out, Dad, if you're watching. But which is fine. I made it knowing that down the road it'll be more of a thing than now. I just wanted to make it so I have a place where I can start to try to grow a community and stuff like that.
And so did I. I made my Patreon a long time ago, like last February 2020. And like it got no traction at all. I basically gave up on it. And
it's kind of the way mine is right now. Like, no one's really joining. So it's kind of just there, but that's fine. I'm going to keep it just there. But when I grow more and start to build more content that people want, then I'll start to be plugging in a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I have like... I
just wanted to lay the foundation.
Yeah, essentially, like, I do not have that many patrons. I mean, I have 14.
That's a good amount.
Yeah. So I have 14, and of the 14... 7 of them, or six of them, are essentially getting. Well, one of them is just Outhouse, who gave me $1 a month to make me happy, to support me. So thank you, Outhouse.
My dad said he loves being a part of my Patreon.
Aww.
Thank you, Dad. You'll get a T-shirt in 2 months.
But then, so 5 people are just buying my Dynasty rankings, which is literally you bought a shared Google Sheet. Like,
I thought about doing that, actually. I thought about that last night. I was thinking, well, I tweeted. You saw my tweet, I think, about redraft content. I feel like you liked that.
Yes, I commented on that.
You did. That's why I remember it. I thought about making a little like draft guide kind of thing, or like highlighting some like breakup picks, sleepers, busts, values, kind of stuff like that, like more towards like redraft season and like August release for like $2 or something like that. But like, I don't know if people would buy it, but like I considered making that just so I can have a deliverable thing to offer people to buy into the Patreon, rather than just be like, hey, look at my Patreon, come buy in. So I actually have like a thing to offer people.
Yeah, what did I do? I think I charge $3 a month for these rankings. So
that's a fair price.
I think that's fair. I mean, it could be worse. Like,
it could be worse.
Yeah, I mean, I could have charged anything, right? Like,
yeah,
I could have charged more or less. Or
do you have like every format for your rankings, or is it just like one?
I mean, I have one QB, I have Superflex tight end premium, I have rookies on there as well.
Okay, well, yeah, you have varied. I mean, I didn't know if it was just like Dynasty PPR.
Yeah, I mean, it's $3 a month, but like, you can buy rankings for less. I don't think the point of that, it's really for people more to support me. Like, the price on that kind of sucks. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure you can get like all the Dynasty Nerds rankings for like $3 a month.
Yeah, and I don't think.
But like you said, it's more to support you.
That's
but
more
also getting benefit.
Yeah, and then I have the higher tiers, which are $5, $8, and $15 a month, and for $5 you get essentially me helping you run one Dynasty team, like whatever that is, whatever that involves. And then 8 is 2 teams, and 15 is as many as you want.
What if someone had like 200 leagues and they're like, here?
I mean, it's limited by the like how quickly I can answer your question. So like I will try my best with 200 teams, but like realistically, I don't know how helpful I'm actually going to be with.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's some, but a lot with that. It's mostly just like I'll do my best with whatever you have on offer. I'm like, it is what it is. Like, there's, I think it's within reason. Like, I try to do my best to answer every question I get that day if I can. And I think that that's fine. I mean, I haven't had any complaints about my Patreon.
Yeah, well, that's good then.
Yeah, but it's not really. I don't make money on my Patreon. I mean, I do, but like
based on like your time investment.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Like I'd have to charge significantly more, and that is, but I can't. Like this is as much as I can get.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get more patrons very quickly. So like, I think what I would have to do, I actually think I could make more money doing this a different way, which is helping people in high stakes leagues for a percentage of potential winnings. Like really high stakes. Like we're talking $1,000 league. Like I might be worth, 5-10% of it.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. Like I think I'm better off with that kind of like mercenary style. Maybe than I am with this like per month.
That'd be tough though, because you wouldn't get anything the entire season, and if they lose,
but I don't really get anything as it is. Like
that's true, but then also, what if they do it the entire time and then they screw you over and they just like block
that's
you?
That's true. That
and
would
you don't get anything because they easily could do that.
I'd have to find some way to like.
Yeah, like a legal agreement, like you have to do it. Or else it's a scam.
I mean, what I would do is there would be some sort of upfront payment. It would be an upfront payment and a percentage. So like the upfront payment would be relatively small, but so, if they screwed me out, I'd at least have something, but I also I'd hope that people don't screw me out of stuff. Like, that'd
be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can worry about that in any business, right? Like,
yeah,
people can always screw you. So like that's part of the risks of doing business, but it's something I would consider. But again, probably not going to be how I like make money in this industry. It's just like as I start to grow, I'll probably eventually I'll probably shut my Patreon down. Like if like when I have like. If I multiply my following by 10, I probably won't still have a Patreon at that point.
Yeah. Well, would you though? Well, you could just rearrange things. Like you could do like kind of like what like the footballers do. I mean, they're huge, but they just get like an extra podcast every week. Like that's what like bigger up Patreons do. Like $5 a month gets you like an extra podcast every week.
Yeah, I have my podcast. Maybe I'd reformat it in that case. And go in on the Patreon together with CJ. Right now, I think I'm better off on my own. I love you, CJ, but I don't think that we're gonna get.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
He's not gonna double. He'd need to double my revenue for me to make it worth it, and that is not going to happen. So like, I'm better off on my own. Plus, also like these people who are buying my Patreon are buying me. Like, they're not, could they get someone else to give them dynasty advice? Of course they could.
Yeah, they can.
But like, they want me specifically for some reason. So it's like, our podcast is not big enough to have a podcast Patreon. And if
you have to get pretty big to get a podcast Patreon.
Yeah. And if it does ever, if we do ever launch such a thing, that would probably be for us, like I'd probably launch them simultaneously, and if that took off, I'd probably shut down my personal.
I need to get CJ on a show with me. I think
that's a great idea.
For a while, and I haven't talked to him at all yet. We're
just not big enough for me to do that. Like I'm better. Like I know from the money, like I'm better off with my own Patreon than I would be together. Fair. But hopefully our show grows and we get to a point where we can offer a podcast, like a Patreon podcast, like that kind of stuff. And then, we'll launch because he's been talking about wanting to launch a Patreon for a while. And I've definitely been like dragging my feet because I'm like, we just don't have the audience for that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's tough.
We will.
It's tough in the streets, but
for sure. Patreons are hard. Nobody wants to pay for them.
Let's wrap up this 2 hour and 15-minute long conversation with ranking. Crazy. It's been fun though. I haven't been bored 1 second. So
not at all.
It's been great. Usually I like try to keep it around an hour, but I don't mind when the conversation keeps
you
going.
You know that an hour is nothing with me.
Oh yeah, we can go forever. But I want you to rank your 3 favorite Pokemon starters of all time.
Ooh. Okay.
Before we wrap up.
That's a good question. Let's see.
You can take into fact just the first form. You can take into fact all 3 forms. You can do whatever you want.
Well,
do you mean to pull up a list? Yes or no?
Yeah, pull up a list.
All right.
Pull up a list because I don't have them like memorized. But this is so because there's so much that goes into this too. Like it's the games, it's the TV show, it's like just how I feel about them in life. Pokemon Go, like
there's a lot.
Like so many. This is good. There's so many different.
All right, here we go.
A lot of them are bad Pokemon, though. That's the thing. Like,
yeah, that's the thing.
What do I have most?
But they look cool.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I care a lot about that. So it's like, what do
Why can't I just like pull this up? Okay, it's not gonna look pretty, but it'll work. Hang
on.
Let's see.
Have, like the most. Oh wait! Oh my God! Wait!
What? Do you have like a poster?
Can you make me big screen again, please?
Yeah.
Look.
You have a Bulbasaur?
I do. Isn't that really cute?
It is.
My mom
is Bulbasaur in your top 3?
Yeah, I think so, just for that. Oh, and I also have another Pokemon. My mom got me this one too. This is a Nuzleaf.
That's pretty cool.
Not a starter, but
I like that.
Oh wait.
You have another one? You have Meowth?
Who's not a starter.
I don't have any like plushies or anything.
Look. Squirtle.
Do you have a Charmander too?
I don't think I do. I'm not as big of a fan of Charmander as the others.
Really?
No, it just didn't speak to me. So yeah, but I think my favorite I'm not a big Charmander person. But I think my favorite, it's hard. If I take them all into account, all the forms, I think I'm the most attached to probably Bulbasaur. Just because Bulbasaur is the first one. Like, I have good memories of Bulbasaur from, like, so for me, like, Pokemon came in 2 phases. There's when I watched the TV show and when I played the game. So the TV show, I mostly watched Gen 1. Like, Gen 1, that was when I was the right age to watch the TV show. I was, like, 6. And then for the games, my biggest gen, as you know, is Gen 4. So Gen 1 and Gen 4 are probably the ones I'm more biased towards. I still watched a little bit of Gen 2 on the TV. Gen 3, I just kind of missed. And then everything after Gen 4, I
don't know what generation I watched on TV. I forget.
Well, I mean, Gen 1 came out when you were, like, literally being born. So probably not Gen 1.
Probably not that one. I watched it on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, so did I. I know, I loved it. But it was Gen 1. It was like right when it was coming out.
It might have been Gen 3 or Gen 4.
It probably was Gen 3. Gen 4 would have been a little late when it was on TV. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
I honestly don't know.
There's a gap between the TV shows are always behind. The games come out first and then the TV show.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Bulbasaur would definitely be my number 1. That one I just remember growing up as like my favorite of the original generation. I really didn't like the Gen 2 starters at all. They just didn't really, for some reason.
I think it was Gen 3 that I watched because I remember
Gen 3 would make sense. Yeah. That's when they replaced Brock with what's his name?
I watched Brock though. Like I remember Brock.
You might have come in just at the end of Gen 2 then.
Maybe. Who knows? All right, but let's Bulbasaur's your favorite.
Bulbasaur's definitely my favorite. That's the one I'm like attached to. And then
I think my favorite It's either Charmander or Chimchar. Chimchar was my first starter Pokemon when I was growing up. So I really liked Chimchar.
I was gonna say Chimchar is my second favorite, just because like Sinnoh was my big generation, and he was the best of those three. Like Infernape is just like so much better.
Infernape is sick.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I pretty much gave up on Pokemon after Gen 4, so I don't know.
I played Pokemon Black and White, and that was the last one I played. Like,
I own Pokemon Black and White, but I never played them.
Yeah, I played Diamond and Pearl were my first games, and I played Platinum, and then I played
I own
Gold. Then I played Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and then I played Black and White, and then I stopped playing.
Yeah, I stopped at Heart Gold, I think.
That was like one of the best ones. So
yeah, it was really good, but that's where I stopped. Emerald, I think, was my first game. I didn't play video games when I was a little kid.
I've played Emerald. I've played Emerald and Ruby Red, Fire Red.
Yeah. No, I didn't start playing video games until I was older. My parents wouldn't let me play when I was a little kid. But I think my third favorite, it's hard. I have my Squirtle doll, and I do like Squirtle because he's in Smash, and I'm a big Smash fan.
The Pokemon Trainer Smash character is so fun.
Yeah. And I think just for that reason, I'll go with Squirtle, especially if we're mostly thinking about the pre-evolved form. Because I'm a big
Squirtle might be the best first form out of any of them.
Yeah, honestly. I just don't really like Charmander. I like Charizard, but I'm not a big Charmander fan. I think that's mostly the issue.
Charmander is probably the worst of the three in the first form.
For some reason, I just don't like the way he looks. Like it's
kind of weird.
Yeah,
kind of weird looking.
I love.
I like the Flametail. The Flametail is cool.
I know. But I just feel like, I mean, what's the second gen starter's name? What's his name?
Charmeleon.
No, the second generation, the first form. I know it evolves into Blaziken, but what does it start as? Chikorita.
Torchic.
Torchic is the third one. The one that looks like a chicken.
No, Torchic's the first one. I'm almost positive.
No. Torchic's the third generation, though. The second generation fire starter is... Yeah, Cyndaquil. Yeah, Cyndaquil.
That one's weird looking.
Cyndaquil, Quilava, and then Blaziken. I love Blaziken, but the first
cool.
two forms are kind of sucky.
Yeah, they are kind of sucky.
Same with the Charmander.
Dude, I don't even know the last two up until the newest one with Sobble, Scorbunny, and
I have no idea.
I don't even recognize half of them. Like the fire types. What even are those?
Yeah, I basically checked out of Pokemon after Gen 4.
They look they look so unlike anything else. I don't know, it's weird. My top three probably is Chimchar. I don't know. I probably would go Charmander next, just because I love Charizard so much, and then probably Squirtle third.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, I've also always had a special place in my heart for Turtwig for some reason.
Oh, Turtwig. He was. I love him, but I don't like him as like a Pokemon. But I did start with him in one game, and I've played with all three of the Sinnoh starters. I started with a different one, and I played Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, so I did one each.
That's fair. All right. Well, this has been fun.
Yes.
I probably should end it so we don't go to 3 hours.
Yeah, no. We
will. We probably could go for 4.
Oh, we could go on forever.
We probably could. Well, yeah, I'll definitely have to have you come back on sometime.
Anytime.
We could have you as a weekly guest. We can go for
sure.
4 hours.
I can probably swing something on the more if you wanted to do something on the semi-regular, I could probably do that.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
We can talk about it. I'd love to.
I'm sure we'll DM about it.
And once we get to Pokemon coming out, we will do a
Pokemon.
When the new Pokemon game comes out, we are committing. You all are hearing it live on the air, or if you're watching back, we are committing to doing something for the new Pokemon game.
It'll be fun.
Yeah,
dude.
Brilliant.
We could do like a never-ending live stream.
We'll do something, but that comes out in October. We have like 8 months.
Yeah, October, November. It'll be a long time.
We will do that. So
we'll figure something out for sure. I joined a Pokemon themed fantasy league.
I saw that. They invited me. I said I didn't want to do it because I'm not joining new leagues, but
neither was I.
They did.
I saw it was Pokemon themed, and I was like, I have to.
I know. I resisted, but they did invite me, and
it'll be fun. The rules honestly aren't that complicated so far. It's like you get a few items at the end of every year, and like you get certain type advantages like once a year, but like it really is pretty normal.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, that'll wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out Tyler once again for coming on. Tyler, plug all your stuff real quick.
Yeah, so I write for DLF, as everyone knows. My author link's in my profile. My Patreon link that we talked about a lot is in my pinned posts. I have a podcast, Dynasty Duo with CJ Kraus, which is in my bio. So yeah, pretty much if you just go to my Twitter at DLF_carp, which is on the screen right there, you will find all of these things.
All right. Well, thank you so much, sir. I'm going to play the intro again as an outro because why not? And then I'm going to wrap it up. So I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Maybe for Pokemon. We'll see. Goodbye.